Welcome to Fantasy Audiobook, Global Evolution. My explosion rate is 100 million points high. Chapter 91. The four elements of Duin looked at each other, then silently moved back to Yi Bai. In front of the king-level determination core, they wouldn't be able to quarrel with each other, but they still have to fight. Buying directly on behalf of the family. Yi Bai tossed the awakening crystal core in his hand. This thing was more valuable than he thought. What price can you offer? He said straight to the point. The expressions of the four people immediately became tangled. They shouted out how much they would pay for it, which was a fool's errand, because money now has little value at all. Can only barter. Then the problem comes. Yi Bai probably doesn't know what the king-level awakening crystal core represents. Should he fool him? Facing Yi Bai's half-smiling expression, Wang Ran made a decisive decision. My Wang family is willing to exchange for 100 awakening crystal cores below the king level, plus a secret defense skill training method. Han Fei and Zhang Tianming couldn't help but look at Wang Ran in shock. Isn't it right? Yi Bai hit us a little bit, and then you stepped up your attack. However, Wang Ran had his own ideas. Although he would not be able to make a profit by directly enlarging his moves, he could at least establish a friendly relationship with Yi Bai. Han Fei and Zhang Tianming were not stupid. They immediately realized what Wang Ran was thinking, which was half to buy things and half to make friends. My Zhang family is willing to provide 100 awakening crystal cores below the king level, as well as a metallic single target secret attack technique. Zhang Tianming followed without saying a word. Han Fei also declined. My Han family is willing to provide 100 awakening crystal cores below the king level, as well as a water attribute range attack secret skill. Water attribute, range attack, these two words, she bites hard. Oops, Wang Ran and Zhang Tianming secretly thought, why didn't they think of this? But it's hard to change my tune for a while, after all, kindness comes first. Then I'll sell it to you. As expected by the two of them, Yi Bai directly chose Han Fei's conditions. Han Fei just showed her joy when she heard Yi Bai say, but I have an additional condition. You have to tell me what the use of this thing is. This. Han Fei hesitated. Regarding the secret of the king-level awakening crystal core, only those who were trained as core figures in their family could know. However, she hesitated for a few seconds. After looking around and seeing that no one was eavesdropping, she approached Yi Bai and lowered her voice. You can also see that there is a mist inside the king-level awakening crystal core. This is their talent in life. Memory, through people who can use special powers such as telekinesis and soul power, can imprint these memories and form skills that we humans can cultivate. Yi Bai's eyes shone slightly. No wonder he always felt that Wang Ran and the others' skills were extremely mature, and their feelings were all gained through cultivating the talents of mutated creatures. Needless to say, one of the training skills provided by these three people is also a talent skill copied from a mutated creature. Exchanging skills for skills and adding 100 awakening crystal cores can be considered a sign of sincerity. Take it. Yi Bai directly threw the king-level crystal core in his hand to Han Fei, who was stunned and quickly caught it. I don't have enough crystal cores, can I give them to you later, but I have brought the skills with me, so you can just give them to Lin Qingyuan and put the spiritual power into them. Han Fei took out a jade plaque and handed it to Yi Bai, her pretty face flushed slightly. Yi Bai was so straightforward but she couldn't get the corresponding product, which was a bit embarrassing. Of course, Yi Bai was not interested in the awakening crystal core. He directly took the jade token and played with it, and found that there was indeed a ball of peaceful energy inside, giving people a feeling that it could be easily absorbed. Can I only practice innate skills with the same attribute? He asked casually. Han Fei nodded. The effect of the same sect and the same origin will be better. In addition, these talents and skills cannot be cultivated infinitely. I can barely cultivate two kinds, but as the strength increases, the talents and skills that can be cultivated will also increase. Quote. Yi Bai also nodded. This transaction was really worthwhile and he learned a lot of useful information. As for the awakening crystal core of the mutated queen, it is likely to explode a rare poison skill. He doesn't care. There are probably many king-level creatures in the animal world, so he just needs to kill a few more. With my Yi Shen's strong character, why should I chop down one and explode each one? The transaction was pleasant here, and the wasp army over there was also cleared. A large group of people came back excitedly, looking at Yi Bai with straight eyes. Yi Bai smiled faintly. Now, clean the battlefield. Yi Shen has spoken, let's get started. Be careful, don't let go of an awakening crystal core. There is also the stinger of the mutated wasp. This thing is probably worth a lot of money. The key is that it can also protect yourself. Let's make some smooth moves and let's get the hive. There are only more than 80 people cleaning the huge battlefield. The project is indeed a bit big, but the big guys are happy with it. When the sun clearly sets in the west, the battlefield is cleaned up and the spoils are as follows. 309 hives, 77 mutated bee stings, 55 awakening crystal cores. There are a bunch of parts on the mutated queen bee. Other harvests were good. The number of awakened crystal cores really shocked everyone, because there were only about 100 mutant wasps in total, and the explosion rate was close to 50%. Just highlight one unscientific one. Of course, the people here do not include the people from the strongest team on the surface. They have long chosen to accept Yi Bai's character. That is to say, some mutated wasps did not die under Yi Shen's swords and arrows, otherwise the explosion rate would have increased. Next came the exciting moment of dividing the spoils. Everyone kindly invited Yi Bai to distribute the spoils, but Yi Bai hosted the event irreverently. They were all very satisfied. Everyone was talking and laughing as they walked past the archway with only the steel frame remaining, and officially entered the zoo area from the north gate. Passing through the unprotected gate, you will see a large oval lake in front of you. I don't know whether it is due to no one managing it or due to a sudden change. The lake is a dark red color, and combined with the dilapidated and quiet environment around it, it makes people stand under the scorching sun. A little chilly. This lake is a swan lake. There are many ornamental fish and other small aquatic creatures in it. There may be dangers under the lake. There are 3 passages on the right-hand side. The outer passage is mainly for restaurants and entertainment facilities. The middle and inner passages are mainly for medium-sized animals. There are large animals in the innermost part. On the left-hand side, you will first pass through several ape areas. Lin Qingfeng unfolded the tour map and said. Finally, he reminded. Of course, this is just the original distribution area of animals, and it is likely to have changed a lot now. Our team plans to go fishing here. A team leader said. Obviously, they had already discussed this. Lure aquatic mutated creatures to land and beat them up, it's hassle-free and easy. We are going to take the restaurant route and see if there are any scattered targets. A real man must be upright. We don't go to the playground and go to the wild. After the joint team entered the north gate, they naturally dispersed to explore separately. Although many people knew that the security would be much higher if they joined together, they still chose to act in small teams. There was no way, with Yi Shen here, they could only have a sip of soup. You still have to have some dreams as a human being. Ahem, Yi Shen and the 4 of us plan to wander around casually. Is it okay to leave the team now? Zhang Tianming found Yi Bai, and the other 3 teammates were standing not far away. Yi Bai looked at Zhang Tianming for a few seconds, grinned and said, of course, no problem, you are free to do whatever you want. Aren't we afraid that you will say that we are not loyal? Ha. Zhang Tianming felt confused, but Yi Bai finally agreed and went back to report the good news to Wang Ran and the others. The 4 of them hugged Yi Bai from a distance and walked towards the first road on the right. After a while, the 4 of them disappeared. I want to act alone and will eventually go to Hushan. Where can we meet? Yi Bai looked at Lin Qingfeng's brother and sister. Yi Shen also wants to leave the team. Although everyone was a little reluctant to give up, they did not stop him. It seemed that Yi Shen was someone who wanted to do big things. If they followed him, they would probably be held back. Okay, then we will take a safer route all the way to Hushan. If the risk is too great, we will cancel the route and look for lone mutant creatures. Lin Qingfeng nodded. Although the Guangcheng Martial Arts Association wanted to eliminate the White Tiger group, he would not lead his teammates to die if things couldn't be done. That's best. By the way, I'll leave you with something for self-defense. Yi Bai said, taking out a sledgehammer out of thin air and placing a large shield on the ground. Everyone in the strongest team on the surface was shocked on the spot. They had never seen a sledgehammer, but they had seen a large shield. Can resist the venom of the mutated queen head-on. Lin Qingfeng touched his hand and couldn't help but look at Yi Bai in surprise. The hammer and shield should be made of the same material as your knife, right? Yeah, Yi Bai nodded. I go. The comparison is more intuitive. The mutant queen was almost hacked to death by Yi Bai's knife. You'd better take it back. It's too valuable. You need it too. Lin Qingfeng gritted his teeth and refused. I'm just lending it to you for the time being. But before he finished speaking, Yi Bai interrupted. I don't need it now. These two things are not of much help to me anymore. He was telling the truth. After killing the mutant queen, the big thunder sound breathing method naturally broke through a small bottleneck and reached a new state. It seemed that the final perfection was not far away. It can be said that Yi Bai is now faced with a situation where the weapons and equipment of the extraordinary alloy series are not enough, and the method of further cultivation is not available. But it didn't bother him at all. Because there is nothing that cannot be solved by killing monsters. As long as I kill enough monsters and they are strong enough, my troubles will not be able to catch up with me. Yi Bai said this, and Lin Qingfeng accepted it without pretense. He was also as clear as a mirror. He was mainly for the safety of his future wife, not for him. Then he temporarily assigned them to two teammates with strength talents. Both of these gadgets were a bit heavy and only those with awakened strength talents could use them smoothly. Yi Bai pulled Lin Qingwan aside, handed Han Fei the jade token that she had traded, and briefly explained the function of the jade token. The ice element and the water element complement each other, or the ice element is an advanced mutation of the water element. He and Han Fei traded this thing naturally for his wife. Lin Qingwan was a little confused on the spot. Yi Bai just said that he would give her skills 2 hours ago, and now he has done it. I will master it as quickly as possible. Lin Qingyuan then grabbed the jade sign with a serious look on her face. Without Yi Bai in charge, their team would be much different from an ordinary team. At this time, she, a third-level talent awakener, was needed to step forward. You are my wife, it's a piece of cake. Yi Bai pinched Lin Qingwan's pretty face with a smile, turned around and walked towards the innermost tourist passage on the right. Everyone watched him disappear from sight, and the envy in their eyes could not be hidden. They also want to act alone, but lack the ability. Alright, let the investigation duo investigate the nearby 500-meter area to see if there is any possibility of making a vote. If not, find a safe place to station and spend the night first. When Lin Qingfeng was giving orders, no one noticed that in the grass nearby, a small spore on a common plant suddenly split and withered. On the first tourist passage on the right side of the north gate, a team of 4 people walked relaxedly. Although it was a tourist passage, it was already overgrown with weeds and surrounded by trees that were taller than people and had twisted shapes. It looked eerie in broad daylight. But they were still talking and laughing, highlighting the boldness of a talented person. These 4 people are clearly the 4 envoys of Duin. It's so boring. I can't even shoot videos here. Otherwise, if I shoot a video and upload it on Duin, many girls will give birth to monkeys for me. Zhang Tianming was chattering boredly while clearing away the mobs that jumped out to attack. His right hand now turned into a metal knife. Judging from the shape and luster, it couldn't be said to be exactly the same as the extraordinary alloy knife Yi Bai used to slash a street. It could only be said to be completely consistent. Suddenly, a green light flashed in Wang Shasha's eyes. Sure enough, Yi Bai also flew solo. He took the innermost tourist passage on the right. Wang Shasha's face was full of joy. The other 3 people also looked happy when they heard this. Wang Ran thought for a while and said, he may be heading to the White Tiger Observation Park. 100%. White Tiger Mountain is an extremely dangerous area. Even the authorities are unable to go up the mountain. Yi Bai is not a fool to go there alone. If it were me, I would also go to the White Tiger Observation Park. The terrain there is friendly and the original number of white tigers there are only about 10 of them, which is very suitable for single brushing. Zhang Tianming said carelessly. It seems that he is not interested in us. So, are we really going to set off? Let's go, we need to be ready before dark. Go, we have so much royal jelly now, we can do a lot. After confirming that Yi Bai was not staring at them, the 4 Duin envoys turned left excitedly. Although there was no way to turn left, the 4 of them had the ability to force their way out. Half an hour later, 4 figures emerged from the dense forest, and they were none other than Wang Ran and the others. It was obvious that they were playing a trick and obviously chose the first tourist passage on the right, but in fact, the one they really wanted to take was the middle one on the right. Seeing that there were no fresh traces in this semi-blocked passage, the four of them embarked on the path forward with great satisfaction. But what Wang Ran and the other four didn't see was that behind them, on a big tree by the roadside, a man was looking at their cheerful back with a smile. This person is clearly Yi Bai. Wang Ran and the other four played tricks to raise suspicions, and Yi Bai also followed suit. He obviously chose the first road, but secretly walked through the dangerous zone to the second tourist passage waiting for them. He had a hunch that these people were hiding something from him. Perhaps it is the most precious elixir resource in this zoo. The Wushu Association said there are many of them, but he hasn't discovered them yet. He's pretty much beaten the little monsters before, and now it's time to get down to business. Moreover, these four guys challenged themselves at the beginning. If they were not strong enough, wouldn't they be admitted to the hospital before they entered the kindergarten? Besides, you just kept talking about team spirit. Now what's going on when good things happen to you? Therefore, he felt that it was necessary to increase the difficulty for these guys and let them know who is the real Duin brother. You are on the 3rd floor this time, but I am on the 5th floor. If such a good friend doesn't make a fortune together, then don't blame me for robbing monsters. Yi Bai grinned, then jumped to the ground and walked forward swaggeringly. Leaving aside Yi Bai, the strength of the four Duin ambassadors is actually not weak. They can even challenge mutant beasts alone. As long as they don't encounter a group of beasts, they can survive. And their goals seem to be very clear and they are moving very fast. In the evening, 4 people had entered an entrance. In less than a minute, Yi Bai stood at the entrance and looked at the human facilities near the entrance. They had been completely destroyed, but some patterns could still be seen. It's a bear habitat inside. Is there a magic medicine here? Yi Bai's eyes brightened slightly. In Chimelong wildlife world, the combat power of bears is second only to tigers. It is completely conceivable how terrifying the mutant bears are. The main thing is that after he observed it, he found that this was probably the place where the elixir he longed for existed. That is, there were too many bears, so he needed the help of these good friends to reduce their hatred before he could search for them. Afterwards, Yi Bai walked in without hesitation, but he was not as relaxed as before. He adjusted his breathing to the most concealed state, and also entered the state of subtle movement. Firstly, he wanted to avoid being discovered by Wang Ran and the others, and secondly, just in case. If you encounter a group of mutant bears, you might as well run away as soon as possible. Just like the outside, the bear habitat is covered with weeds that are taller than people. If a team were to separate a little, they would probably get separated quickly, let alone follow people. However, Yi Bai didn't track people with his eyes, but with his abnormal 5 senses. After he noticed that the auras of Wang Ran and the 4 people in front became stronger, he knew that they had stopped. Looking around, he picked a big tree that was pleasing to the eye. In order to avoid disturbing his good friends, he didn't use any force and just climbed up. When we got to a high enough height to look again, the figures of Wang Ran and 4 others appeared in the field of vision. They were hiding behind a boulder. They didn't look like they were going to spend the night. Why did they choose to start farming here? Yi Bai sat on the tree trunk and took out a bottle of Coke from the storage space and was about to open it. When he thought of something, he replaced it with a bottle of red wine. It's better to open a bottle of 1982 Lafite to suit the occasion. Hee. The 4 Duin messengers were completely unaware and were still busy making preparations. Zhang Tianming and Wang Ran worked together to easily dig a big hole, and then inserted the stingers of the mutated wasps. The number was enough, because when distributing the spoils, they gave up all the awakening crystal cores and put all the poisonous wasps in. The thorns are rounded. After the stingers were arranged, Wang Shasha sprinkled another piece of seeds around. Han Fei then made an ice cap to seal the hole, and covered it up with weeds. Wang Ran took out a bottle of royal jelly and gently placed it on the middle position. After preparations were made, the 4 of them hid behind the boulder. Can this lure the mutant bear here? It should be no problem. Ancient books record that all mutant bears like royal jelly, and you can smell even a little bit of royal jelly within 300 meters. Yes, this is biological instinct. Even if the mutated bear finds it strange, it cannot resist this instinct. Why else would the mutated wasp swarm build a nest outside the north gate? It's not to hide from the bears. If 2 or more mutated bears come over, Han Fei, don't break the ice and let them eat it. We have no shortage of royal jelly. The 4 of them were very excited. This is a mutated beast that can 100% explode awakening crystal cores. Although there is no way to imprint skills from it, it is of top quality. One of them can equal 100 ordinary awakening crystal cores. With this level of mutated creatures, even 4 of them bundled together might not be able to defeat one of them. But now that they have royal jelly, there is a different story. Waited for about 20 minutes. Ouch! Dong dong! A low cry came, accompanied by a slight tremor on the ground. The 4 Duin messengers looked excited. This movement was obviously a large single mutated creature. They had met the right bear. On a certain tree, Yi Bai was no longer sleepy. Putting down the luxury brand co-branded goblet, and looking closely, you can clearly see a mutated black bear. As for why it is so clear, it is because the weeds cannot cover its huge body. When walking on all 4 limbs, the height is nearly 4 meters by visual inspection, while the straight one is no more than 7 or 8 meters tall, and the waist is thicker than the tree under his feet. At this time, the mutated black bear was walking straight towards the small bottle of royal jelly with a pace that it would not recognize its relatives. Yi Bai was a little worried that Han Fei's ice cap would not be able to hold it with such momentum. Fortunately, I managed to hold on after stepping on it. The mutated black bear lowered his head and sniffed at the bottle. The bear's face showed an obviously intoxicated look, but he still resisted moving his mouth and raised his head to look around. Except for the moderate wind, there was no movement. Ouch! The mutated black bear's patience ended here, and he immediately opened his mouth excitedly and swallowed the bottle. However, before he could taste the delicious food, the ground under his feet suddenly collapsed. Sitting on the dense bee stings immediately brought a kind of pain from the genes to the mutated black bear. When he was about to struggle subconsciously, the inconspicuous seeds on the ground suddenly grew crazy tentacles and spread in just a few breaths. All over the body. Roar! The mutated black bear made a fighting cry angrily. But before he could struggle, the soil from all sides was squeezed in at the same time. Normally, he would just slap it away, but at this time, he was tied into a rice dumpling, and there was a dizzy feeling in his head, which made this mutated black bear's thinking become sluggish, and he was helplessly looking at his body. I was squeezed so hard that I felt severe pain in the top of my head and completely lost consciousness. Outside, the 4 Duin ambassadors were excited as they looked at the ground that had been tightly sealed. Dead. Royal jelly contains natural plant toxins, so it's logical that it's done. It's better to be cautious. Zhang Tianming wants you to stab him a few more times. Okay, Sha, where is the Tianling guy? Probably here. After being cautious, the 4 of them started digging the hole. Soon they saw the mutated black bear from before, lying quietly and looking very peaceful. Old Zhang, what are you waiting for? Let's get to work. Okay, on a certain tree. Yi Bai took a closer look and found that the mutant black bear's awakening crystal core was a little different. There was no mist inside, but it was significantly larger and more colorful. This thing is probably worth a lot more than ordinary crystal cores. Yi Bai smacked his lips, then poured himself another glass of red wine, tasting it and thinking about it. These 4 people were obviously lone mutant bears. They could just grab one monster, which was very boring. He still had to wait until there were fewer bears before he could go deep to find the elixir. No rush, just wait. Suddenly, Yi Bai was inspired. He stretched out and lay on the flat tree trunk, took out a Hermes blanket from the storage space and covered it with him. Then, go to sleep. I slept straight into the night. The first thing Yi Bai did when he got up was to look at Wang Ran and the other 2, and saw that they were also resting after a busy night, sleeping peacefully with their mutated bear skins covering their bodies. So, he quietly got down from the tree and touched there. It seemed that nothing happened overnight. Wake up. The first thing Wang Shasha did when she opened her eyes was to check her backpack. Speaking of which, this backpack was specially issued by the Guangcheng Martial Arts Association. It is impervious to water and fire, wear resistant, and can hold. This is not the point. The point is that 2 khaki-colored crystals are lying quietly in the lining pocket of the backpack. Yesterday, the 4 of them worked from dusk to late at night and killed a total of 8 mutated bears. Each person they were all assigned 2 awakening crystal cores. This is a high-quality awakening crystal core. Even if the family's internal inventory does not exceed 20 pieces, if I and my brother return home with dozens of them, the family members will not stop shouting, WTF. Thinking of this, Wang Shasha couldn't help but laugh. This girl's emotional management was relatively poor, but the 3 teammates were relatively stable. She smiled like a giggle, at least she didn't make any sound. Although the chance of ferocious beasts mutating is relatively high, there probably aren't many mutant bears left nearby. In addition, the smell of blood here can hardly be covered. Today we will change the place to make a trap. Then what are you waiting for? Find a place to go. Do you still have the bearskin with you? I won't bring it anymore. We only take the crystal core and bear claws except for overnight needs. To rush the duck, the day's plan begins in the morning. Facing the not-so-bright sunrise, the foursome started a new day's work. They were so excited that they didn't notice that there was a person following slowly along the traces of their footsteps. The terrain of the bear habitat is in the shape of an elongated oval, and the terrain gets higher toward the center. Maybe last night's trick of trapping and killing mutant bears went too smoothly. The 4 of them were obviously inflated, and they actually found the commanding heights of the entire bear habitat nearby. Have you noticed that the vegetation here seems to have been destroyed? Zhang Tianming, who was exploring the road in front, turned around and asked. We're not blind. Han Fei rolled her eyes at him first, and then asked Wang Shasha, did you find anything? The commanding heights not far away and behind were overgrown with weeds and trees, and the left and right sides below were bare, which looked strangely out of place. I'll do some research. Ms. Wang Shasha, a botany expert, stopped and performed an extremely difficult movement. She knocked her face toward the ground and dug into the soil 3/3 of the way. Her limbs were pressed tightly against the ground, and a faint force spread out in all directions. A full 3 minutes passed. Wang Shasha just got up and shook off the dust, and said with a surprised look, not only the vegetation under our feet has disappeared, but that's about it. Afraid that her teammates wouldn't understand, she drew a mountain on the ground, and then drew a circle from the top of the mountain. Wang Ran looked at the picture on the ground, frowned and thought, the disappearance of a whole circle of vegetation is definitely not an accident, it seems to be a deliberate isolation of an area. The 4 of them looked at the commanding heights in the distance and realized something was wrong. Could it be the work of the Guangcheng Martial Arts Association? They also dug an isolation zone around the animal world. The methods seemed to be similar. Zhang Tianming analyzed. Wang Ran shook his head and pointed at the ground. I didn't pay attention just now. Now if you look closely, although the ground is clean, it is very uneven and irregular, as if it was gnawed by large animals. Zhang Tianming stared. This is the habitat of bears, and large animals are territorial, so the large animal in Wang Ran's mouth can only be a bear. The question is, bears can't mutate and become herbivores. Go back. You can't move around in this isolation zone, let alone go up. Seconded. Slip away. The 4 of them made a decisive decision and retreated to the area covered with weeds and trees. They found an area with obvious traces of mutant bear activity and began to select the best place to commit the crime. There must be something there at the commanding heights, but as a human being you must learn to be content with what you have. The rookie can just dig holes secretly. Rustle. A man stepped out of the bushes. It was Yi Bai. He came to the place where the 4 decided to retreat, looked left and right, and finally looked at the 2 round depressions on the ground and fell into deep thought. You can't tell, Wang Shasha has a pretty fierce figure. Coming to this conclusion, Yi Bai retreated decisively. Although he hadn't realized that what he was standing on was part of a bear circle, he could tell that it was an isolation zone, man-made. Oh no, it was made by bears to isolate the upper area. What is the function of the isolation belt? It's not hard to guess, either they want to protect something, or they want to encircle and suppress something. Therefore, there must be treasure up there. Thinking of this, Yi Bai's heart skipped a beat, but he didn't rush up rashly. After all, it would be embarrassing if those mutant bears discovered it in broad daylight. Come again tonight. Evening. The 4 Duin ambassadors began to dig a hole, while Yi Bai watched from the best viewing position. His five senses, which were different from ordinary people, allowed him to hear the conversation between Wang Ran and the four of them at a suitable distance, and he also learned that there are particularities in digging holes to kill bears. The so-called blind bears mean that even mutant bears may not have the same vision at night. How nice that you have to choose to work when it's dark. Soon everything was ready. Wang Ran took out the bottle containing royal jelly and placed it on the trap. At this time, he found that the color of the bottle of royal jelly seemed to be darker, but he didn't take it to heart. After all, the physique of every wasp is different. After putting away the royal jelly, Wang Ran just returned to his hiding place when he heard Wang Shasha mumbling, "Here comes a mutant brown bear, here comes a mutant brown bear." He couldn't help shaking his head and laughing. There are many bears in the bear habitat, and the most ferocious among them is definitely the brown bear. According to the family's records of mutant creatures, even if the mutant brown bear does not reach the king level, there is a very small chance of exploding the skill crystal core. But the mainstream bears here are still Asian black bears and American black bears. The number of brown bears is very small. It is said that there are only 3 pairs or 6. After the colorful rain, there will definitely be fighting among the animals. How many are left now? The number is unknown. Ouch! At this moment, a cheerful bear roar suddenly came. The takeout came a little fast today. Hearing this, the 4 of them looked surprised, but soon their expressions became a little strange. The movement, the rising and falling of the shouts. There are 2 of them. Immediately, the expressions of the 4 people couldn't help but change. This was different from the result they expected. With their professional abilities, they can only kill a mutant bear in seconds. The most optimistic result of another one is that it will be entangled for a short time. The bad consequences are unimaginable. Han Fei, you must stabilize the ice, and Sasha, use your seeds to help support it. If the pit is exposed, the mutated bear's IQ will definitely find us. Wang Ran warned in a low voice. We'll try our best. The 2 girls looked heavy and nodded helplessly. On the other side, 2 mutant black bears soon arrived at the scene. Judging from the appearance, there is a mutated Asian black bear and a mutated American black bear. The former opens his mouth to bite the bottle when he sees it, but the latter seems to have different opinions. So they started fighting unceremoniously. Bouncing. The 2 big guys stood and slapped each other, their paws whirring, and with their fat bodies, at first glance, they thought they were dancing to a disco. I don't know whether the 2 mutated black bears can withstand it. Anyway, Han Fei couldn't bear it at first. Even with Wang Shasha's help, her expression was extremely ugly. In order to stabilize the quality of the venue, the power in her body was losing rapidly. Fortunately, among the misfortunes, the Asian black bear has a relatively high IQ. It suddenly put on a desperate posture that frightened its opponent, lowered its head, swallowed the bottle, turned around and ran away. Roar! Discovering the mutated American black bear that had been deceived, he chased after him in anger. The 2 mutant bears, one behind the other, quickly disappeared. Call! Han Fei let out a long sigh of relief, she almost couldn't hold it any longer. Recover your strength quickly. Wang ran through a bottle of royal jelly to Han Fei. Han Fei took it and opened the lid, took a look, and said with some surprise, "Why is this bottle of royal jelly darker in color?" The color of honey will change slightly when it leaves the hive, and each wasp has a different constitution. Wang Ran explained seriously. As he spoke, he opened the backpack specially containing royal jelly and showed it to his teammates. Sure enough, the royal jelly inside was darker than first seen. Hey, there's another bottle of turbid ones here. Wang Shasha saw one of the more special bottles and took it out. When the other 3 people took a look, it was true that the color was darker and very turbid, with many subtle impurities vaguely visible. This may have deteriorated due to improper storage. Wang Ran concluded confidently. Wang Shasha opened it and smelled it, then closed it and handed it to Wang Ran. The taste is still very pure. I don't know if something will happen if I eat it, so just use this bottle as bait. Wang Ran took it and nodded. Even if the attribute of bait is put aside, royal jelly is a rare and good thing. You can save a little bit. The 4 of them waited patiently for a while, thinking that the 2 just ran away, and then Wang Ran put the bait on the trap again. However, when he saw him putting down the new bait, Yi Bai, who was hiding behind him, silently retreated 100 meters. The group of four thought they were unlucky just now because there happened to be two mutant bears within a radius of 300 meters. However, they did not know that the two mutant bears just came from at least 500 meters away. To be honest, Yi Bai didn't even know what the consequences would be. Staying away from good friends is the minimum respect for life. He still has important things to do. Taking advantage of the opportunity given by his good friends who risked their lives to help him, he began to search for his goal in this bear territory, the elixir. Time passes slowly. Sha, what's wrong with you? Han Fei finished her meditation and saw Wang Sha squirming, and couldn't help asking with concern. I don't know, I just feel a little uneasy with my strong heartbeat. Have you recovered your strength? Wang Sha also looked confused. It's back to its best condition. This royal jelly is even more powerful than I imagined. Han Fei exclaimed. Ah! Wang Sha suddenly screamed. What's wrong? The other three were also startled. The surrounding plants are sending out signals of fear. There is danger, great danger, super great danger. Wang Sha's face turned pale. Danger? No way, where did it come from? Zhang Tianming's words broke. Because the ground is shaking. Dong dong dong. There were large creatures running around, more than one. Yes, many. The four of them subconsciously peeked in the direction of the trap, and then saw that the weeds and trees in the distance were falling piece by piece, rushing towards them like a wave. 1 Zoo 3 Zoo 5 Zoo 15. Wang Sha was too scared to count. The situation of the other three people was not much better. After all, facing the charge of dozens of mutant bears, everyone would be frightened. Run quickly, it's too late. With Wang Ran's low shout, everyone woke up from a dream and subconsciously turned around and ran away. They ran as hard as they could, until the frightening movement behind them disappeared, then they dared to stop. After finding a high point for observation, I discovered that dozens of mutant bears were standing around the trap they had set. Although they were all making frizzy movements, none of them bit the bait. Ah, we forgot our backpacks. Wang Sha, a little money lover, suddenly exclaimed. Only then did Wang Ran and the other three people realize, yes, they were in a state of taking action at any time, so naturally they put their backpacks aside. Just now they only had the idea of running away, but they forgot to take their backpacks. Crap, Zhang Tianming cursed. The backpack contains everything they gained after coming in. If they can't get it back, doesn't it mean their work was in vain? The key is that without royal jelly, they can no longer happily dig holes. Fortunately, these mutated bears are attracted to royal jelly, otherwise we would have become their food. It would be good if we could just save one life. Wang Ran comforted his friend. If it wasn't for the pained expression on his face, it would probably have some effect. Roar! A low growl came. The four of them looked intently and saw the mutant bear group making way for the passage, and a mutant bear slowly appeared and walked towards the bottle that was in an open state. This is a mutated brown bear. Zhang Tianming glared. Look carefully at its hair before you speak. Wang Ran's face turned pale. This is the mutant brown bear king. No wonder it can command a group of mutant bears. It is definitely the only overlord of the bear habitat. Han Fei directly revealed the answer, but her voice was a little trembling. Only then did Zhang Tianming and Wang Sha discover that the hair of this mutated brown bear was not brown, but light golden. Boom! The moment the mutant brown bear king stepped into the trap, the ice cover burst into pieces. The mutant brown bear king obviously didn't expect it, but just when the huge body was about to fall, an earthy yellow light shone under its feet. The next second, the big pit disappeared. It's like it never existed. If the bottle hadn't fallen into the mutant brown bear king's paws, Wang Ran and the others would have thought it was just a trick. Looking at the mutant brown bear king happily enjoying royal jelly, and the mutant bears licking their mouths around him, Wang Sha weakly suggested, how about we stop looking and run away? The other three nodded silently in agreement. However, just when they were about to continue running, a figure appeared in their field of vision. Before they could see it clearly, they saw several flashes appearing in a familiar place. Former hiding place. It was also at this time that I could vaguely get a rough idea of what this person looked like. The foursome couldn't help but blinked, almost thinking they had seen it wrong. Yi Bai. It's really Yi Bai. Wang Sha wiped her eyes to make sure she saw it correctly. Why is Yi Bai here? What does Yi Bai want to do? These two thoughts came to the four people's minds at the same time. The answer was soon revealed. I saw Yi Bai looking left and right, then suddenly picked up a backpack on the ground and shouted at the top of his voice, "Who left these backpacks here? I will pick them up when no one wants them on the count of 3. 3. Okay, no one wants it, then it's mine from now on." When Yi Bai had already put all the backpacks on his body, the four of them woke up from a dream. The first thought is, we said we would count to 3, why on earth do you just start counting from 3? The second thought was that Yi Bai had stolen their treasure. He stole our backpacks, grab them back quickly. Wang Shasha was so angry that she wanted to go over and fight Yi Bai. But they were held tightly by Wang Ran because not only did they see Yi Bai's performance but also mutated bears. Roar. The mutated brown bear king looked up to the sky and roared, and its bloodline genes told it that the two-legged beast that suddenly jumped out and croaked was the feud of their bear clan. Yi Bai had actually been observing the mutated brown bear king. After all, this giant beast was indeed majestic. When he saw it, he suddenly roared and then felt a strong sense of crisis. Then he subconsciously jumped back more than 10 meters. Bang bang bang. Before his body even hit the ground, there was a row of stone pillars thicker than a human being standing where he was standing. The nearest one to him was less than 1 meter away. Mud, this thing is so perverted. My voice is so small. I haven't had enough to eat. Come on, I'll give you some charity. Yi Bai cursed and took out a handful of royal jelly from his backpack, opened the lid, and threw it at the mutant bears with the technique of a goddess. Come on, why are you being polite to me? There is still more after eating. He said there was more, but the person had already turned around and ran away. What he threw was our royal jelly. Wang Shasha almost cried. Royal jelly is also a delicacy hidden in the genes of the bears. Suddenly it ran to their faces. The mutant bears really couldn't help it this time and started to grab it. The entire group of mutated bears were instantly in chaos. The mutated brown bear king subconsciously wanted to grab it, but he immediately suppressed his instinct with strength. He roared several times but failed to scare the younger brothers, so he simply took a step forward and chased Yi Bai. Two-legged beasts are very annoying to begin with, but this two-legged beast dares to challenge His Majesty and must be killed. Yi Bai underestimated the strength of the mutant brown bear king at first. He thought that a bear was thick-skinned and stupid, so he could kite to death with his strength. As a result, even though they were more than 50 meters apart, they were almost killed by a move from the mutant brown bear king. And now, he discovered that the mutant brown bear king was running as faster than him. Run so fast. Are you worthy of your dozens of tons of meat? Yi Bai was cursing again. Haha, you deserve it. This is what you get for stealing our things. Wang Shasha giggled as she saw the mutant brown bear king running so fast. The teammates also showed cheerful smiles. This Yi Bai must have followed them early, waiting for this opportunity to come out and snatch their things. Now it's self-defeating. But soon, they stopped laughing, and even their expressions gradually turned frightened. Zhang Tianming's eyes widened. Stop being so stupid. Run. Wang Ran woke up his companions, turned around and ran away. He, who has always been civilized, couldn't help but scold his mother at this moment. The stupid Yi Bai just snatched something and brought the mutant brown bear king to them. In terms of running, Yi Bai couldn't outrun the mutated brown bear king, but he could outrun the foursome. He quickly caught up with them, but Yi Bai seemed to have just discovered these four people. While running, he shouted loudly, why are you four here? What a coincidence. What a coincidence, UMMP. The four of them had something in their hearts that they didn't know whether to say or not. Yi Bai still had the ability to run and shout at the same time, but they didn't have the strength. What little strength they had to be used on their feet. Why don't you say anything? By the way, I brought a king-level creature over and let's do it together. Haha, it's almost as good as feeding it together. Hey, I didn't expect that you wouldn't even pay attention to me. It's just me being sentimental. However, I can't be unreasonable if you are ruthless. I'll just accept this. When he said this, Yi Bai passed by Han Fei. Han Fei felt her palms sink. She looked down and saw a backpack. From the jingling sound coming from inside, it was easy to guess that it was royal jelly. She suddenly thought that using royal jelly can disrupt the movements of mutant bears. Even the mutant bear king must have some effect. Maybe Yi Bai is still a good person in essence. Yi Bai, no, Yi Shen, we can't run away anymore. Why don't we join forces to fight him first and then find a chance? Zhang Tianming finally couldn't help but speak out when he saw Yi Bai rushing in front of them. He just yelled casually, but he didn't expect that Yi Bai actually stopped and said with a righteous look on his face, "You were right, she can be killed and cannot be humiliated, let's fight it." He actually pulled out the extraordinary alloy knife and rushed towards the mutant bear king. Such a sudden appearance made not only the foursome stunned, but also the mutant bear king chasing after them. Running in the opposite direction, is this two-legged beast stupid? In that case, in the flash of lightning, Wang Ran didn't have time to think too much and shouted, "Take action, help Yi Bai." Although they are not happy in their hearts, the five of them are grasshoppers on a rope at this time, and their personal feelings must be put aside. Confinement. As soon as Yi Bai used the knife to fight back, Han Fei responded. 4 crampons appeared on the ground and unexpectedly grabbed the mutant brown bear king's limbs. Bang! Crampons smash. For the power of the mutated brown bear king, this is not a restriction at all, but it is not without any effect. At least its momentum has stagnated. Seeing this, Wang Shasha threw 2 seeds, which turned into 2 ferocious vines on the ground, wrapping around the mutant brown bear king's forelimbs like snakes. Roar! The mutated brown bear king pulled it left and right, but it didn't break for a while. At this time, Yi Bai's blade sneak attack from behind also arrived. The mutant brown bear king didn't even try to hide, he turned around and hit the knife edge. Kang! After the muffled sound of metal, Yi Bai's figure flew away, but the mutant brown bear king was unscathed. Ah, this bear is not simple. It is so powerful that it is impossible to beat it. Leave me alone and run away. Although Yi Bai was knocked far away, his screams could be heard clearly. Seeing this scene, the foursome were dumbfounded. Is the mutant brown bear king's power so abnormal? Can it send Yi Bai flying so far? By visual inspection, it must be at least 200 meters. Isn't it? This is Yi Shen. The key is that Yi Bai couldn't stabilize his body, and he fell to the ground, and was then overwhelmed by the mutant bears chasing after him. Did this one want to sacrifice himself to protect them? It all started quickly and ended even faster. Several people were still finding it incredible. It was so fast that even Wang Ran and Zhang Tianming didn't have time to take action. What does it smell like? Wang Shasha suddenly asked. Then the 4 of them looked at the backpack. It was the backpack in Han Fei's hand. If the smell was correct. All faces were frightened. At this time, Han Fei was trembling all over. She could feel that she was being locked by the eyes of the mutant brown bear king. The way it looked at her was as if foodies see their favorite food. And her feeling was right. In the next moment, the mutant brown bear king tore apart the vines that entangled himself and ran towards her crazily. Han Fei, throw away the backpack. Let's run. Han Fei woke up from a dream, quickly threw her backpack away, turned around and continued running with her teammates. The decision of this throw was very beautiful. The mutant brown bear king turned and chased the backpack without any hesitation, giving the foursome ample time to run away. So, they can still talk now. Yi Bai is such a harmful person, but I still think he has a kind heart. I've finally seen through it, this guy is just an old yin. Let him trick us, now he's going to kill himself, he deserves to be humiliated. No, if he's cheating on us, how could he turn around and attack the mutated brown bear king? And with his strength, it's impossible for him to die so simply. Could it be? The foursome paused and all looked back. This turn back was just right. In the dark mutant bear group, a powerful golden light suddenly erupted, followed by a roar of a tiger, and the mutant bears that were close were immediately blown away. Call out. The golden light easily avoided the paws of several scent bears and rushed up to tens of meters in the air. It drew a beautiful arc in the air without any pause. Only then did the golden light dissipate, and it was possible to see more clearly that it was a human being. He quickly disappeared in one direction against the sunlight. Wang Ran suddenly muttered in despair, "So that's it. He just stole our trophies by the way, mainly because he wanted to get the treasure from the commanding heights." The other 3 people suddenly realized that Yi Bai was flying towards the top of the habitat. Ah, not only did he steal my things, but he also used us. How can a person be so shameless? Wang Shasha cried angrily. At this time, they don't have to run away. Because the mutated brown bear who was enjoying the food also noticed something was wrong. He suddenly looked in the direction of the lair, and then the bear's face gradually became ferocious. Roar! The golden giant bear chased after him angrily with his younger brothers. You're so slow to react, you deserve to be stolen from your home by me. Listening to the continuous roaring sound behind him, Yi Bai grinned. If he wasn't going to fly at full speed, he might as well turn around and shoot a few arrows for fun. He hasn't killed a mutant bear yet. According to the information from the five senses, the speed of the mutant brown bear king was about the same as him, but he had an absolute advantage. As long as he didn't stop, he would be safe. Soon, the peak of the habitat was in front of him. Yi Bai mobilized his strength to focus his eyes and quickly locked onto a bright area. In fact, he discovered this place just now when the Duin Quartet was attracting firepower. However, there were too many bears just now, and there was also a bear king. He was not absolutely sure, so he wasted so many twists and turns. The mutated brown bear king's baby is here. Without any extra time to analyze, Yi Bai's figure turned into a meteor and rushed away. When he landed and looked again, Yi Bai couldn't help but widen his eyes. The bright things he saw turned out to be red, white, green, purple. Flowers and flowers. However, what is different from ordinary flowers and plants is that there is a dense aura surrounding them. If you feel carefully, there is also a faint fluctuation of spiritual energy. Really, after all the hard work this time, it was finally not in vain. Two big words immediately appeared in Yi Bai's mind: elixir. Naturally, this wave of tour groups entering the zoo is not for tourism, but for these things. I have been following Duin for so long and wasted a lot of time because of these things. This is a serious mutated plant. No wonder the country is so precious and reluctant to destroy it. I want to take a few bites of this elixir just looking at it. Yi Bai swallowed politely. Suddenly, he thought about the isolation zone that had been gnawed out by the bears. This was obviously to protect the elixir, so who was it to protect? I'm afraid it's not those improper mutant plants from before. Even the mutant brown bear king needs to be guarded against. These mutant plants are a bit scary. Ignore so much, let's harvest a wave first. Without further ado, Yi Bai started to move. Even the government attaches great importance to these things, which shows their value. And just after he picked about a tenth of it, roar! A bear roared from behind. Looking sideways, I just thought about it for a while, and saw that the mutant brown bear king had already returned. Soon, a group of younger brothers arrived at the scene panting. Yi Bai couldn't help but curled his lips in helplessness. You still say we are good friends, but you are so unloyal. At least help me drag King Bear's younger brother away. That is to say, I didn't hear his complaints, otherwise Wang Ran and the other four might have pointed at him and yelled at him. It's a good thing that the four of us didn't help the mutant bears hunt you down. The mutant brown bear king seemed to treasure these elixirs. Seeing Yi Bai standing so close, he did not launch a large-scale attack, but got closer step by step. Yi Bai glanced at it, and then returned to the elixir. He soon discovered that the elixir in the middle was a bit showy, and he was the only one with fruits. The fist is big and red, like a tomato. Yi Bai spread his hands to pick it. Roar! Roared. Yi Bai's figure moved sideways strangely, and a stone pillar broke out of the original position, pricking his loneliness. Won't you pick it for me? Then I want to pick it. Turning his hands, 2 portions of royal jelly appeared in his hands. Unlike Wang Ran and others who filled them in special sealed bottles, the royal jelly in the storage space was filled in large bowls. As soon as the king-level refined royal jelly was exposed to the air, all the mutated bears' eyes turned green, staring at the big bowl in Yi Bai's hand. Even the mutant brown bear king is no exception. Less than 100 milliliters of king-level refined royal jelly can travel several kilometers, attracting it from the top of the mountain to the scene, let alone a big bowl of it so close. Look at this bearish look. It looks like he has never seen the world. Let's go. Yi Bai grinned and threw the big bowl in one direction. This scene seemed familiar. Originally, with the mutant brown bear king's IQ, he would definitely not be fooled twice, but he couldn't resist his body's instinct. He watched with grief and anger as the two-legged beast ducked out of the way to pick off the fruit, and then ran away, while facing the completely opposite direction. Direction chasing. Well, this honey jelly is so delicious. Even the mutant brown bear king who swallowed the bowl was angry and enjoying himself. When he noticed something flying behind him, he didn't care anymore. Boom! An unknown object exploded on his body, causing his fur to become blackened. It hurt a little, but it was harmless. When he came back to his senses, he quickly turned around to chase the hateful two-legged beast, but he could no longer see the shadow of the two-legged beast. Instead, he saw two younger brothers lying in a pool of blood, looking at him with wide-eyed pupils, as if to say that having a boss like you means we are unlucky. Kill a mutated Asian black bear and obtain a piece of bear bile, which has been stored in the reserve space. Kill a mutated American black bear, obtain a piece of bear bile, and a basic collection technique, which has been stored in the reserve space. Yi Bai, who was running away like crazy, almost laughed out loud when he heard the long-lost notification sound. His character was so explosive that he killed two mutant bears with a casual 3-shot arrow, and even revealed something good. The elementary gathering technique is related to flowers and plants at first glance. Looking back at the running golden beast in the distance, Yi Bai silently took out his energy and ran away. Don't rush, Big Bear, you wait, I will be back. Chimelong Wildlife World. On an unknown tree outside the bear habitat. Yi Bai was lying on the tree trunk, his whole body paralyzed, and the stupid mutant brown bear king was chasing him from behind for a long time. Fortunately, that fool couldn't bear it any longer before he lay down. Tons. After drinking a portion of the refined royal jelly, Yi Bai sat up lazily, feeling that the strength in his body was rapidly recovering. Let's take a look at the gains from exploding monsters first. Bear bile is an intermediate alchemy material. Taking it directly can temporarily increase your strength. Elementary gathering skills. Gaining the ability to collect plants, auxiliary skills that can be learned instantly without any practice. Fortunately, I didn't pull out the elixir randomly. Gathering is a science. Seeing this, Yi Bai happily learned the basic gathering technique. With this technology, he feels even more confident about returning to the top of bear habitat. His eyes returned to reality and he took out a tomato from his trouser pocket. No, it was an unknown elixir fruit and he was playing with it. As soon as he became interested in this thing, the mutated brown bear king hurriedly took action. This fruit was probably the most valuable thing in the elixir. According to what my uncle said, the elixir highlights the word, spiritual, and can improve the awakened person in all aspects. But what can he improve with this thing in his hand? It would be great if I could develop an appraisal technique or something. Yi Bai felt a little regretful. It's really a bit maddening to not understand what he worked so hard to get. The key is that he still wants to kill the mutant brown bear king and get his elixir back. Yes, in Yi Bai's eyes, that piece of elixir has been his property since ancient times. Even the arrows made by the self-exploding father could not break through the mutant brown bear king's defense, which showed that his current strength was not enough, so he had to improve his strength. For a moment, he wanted to achieve a breakthrough in strength, and the first thing he thought about was the fruit in his hand. Isn't that what those cliched martial arts novels say, where a rookie becomes a peerless master after taking a magical elixir and a strange fruit? So, do you want to eat it? After staring at the fruit for a long time, Yi Bai opened his mouth fiercely. Crack, eat big. The moment the pulp went down his throat and entered his stomach, he didn't care so much anymore, he opened his mouth and clicked again. Anyway, it is almost impossible for this guarded elixir to be poisonous, and with his physical fitness, he can easily handle a little poison. Well, it tastes a bit sweet. After eating, Yi Bai smacked his lips and came to a conclusion. The next second, I felt a hot force burst out in my belly, and my internal organs were instantly hit and felt a dull pain. Seeing this, Yi Bai was not surprised but overjoyed. Come on. It is written in martial arts novels that after taking the elixir and strange fruit, you will roll on the ground in pain, but in the end nothing will happen. Calmly cross one's legs, enter a meditative state and start practicing the great thunder sound breathing technique, guiding the hot power to spread throughout the body, disperse and absorb it. After a long time, Yi Bai opened his eyes and looked happy. The martial arts novel did not deceive him. The big thunder sound breathing technique had reached perfection. Standing up and feeling the power surging within his body, Yi Bai couldn't help but let out the Jia Jia laughter in the novel. Looking up, the sky has turned slightly white. Yi Bai jumped to the ground. A figure crossed the sky and landed gracefully on the top of the mountain, right next to the elixir. Ignoring the pair of red bear eyes, he reached out and quickly touched each elixir. Then he looked at the maturity of the elixirs, showed a satisfied smile, and was ready to start collecting. Roar! Stone pillars thrust out. Yi Bai's expression changed, and he raised his foot and stepped down hard. Boom! Before the stone pillar had time to emerge, it was trampled to pieces. Another stone pillar came out at any time, but Yi Bai easily dodged it. Turning back, he swept one off with his kick, and smashed two with one punch. Only constant explosions could be heard on the top. The mutant brown bear king showed a shocked expression. Why did this two-legged beast seem to be different? I'm standing right in front of you. How much do you think I look like before? Yi Bai stood still unscathed and looked at the mutant brown bear king with a faint smile. Unfortunately, with the IQ of the mutated brown bear king, it does not understand the complex psychological attack of pretending. It just felt an inexplicable anger, thinking that the spiritual fruit it had guarded for a long time was also snatched away by this two-legged beast. He is even more angry. Roar! The mutant brown bear king opened his mouth and spit out a huge khaki energy wave. Yi Bai was stunned for a moment and instinctively summoned the small thunder bow. Draw the bow like a full moon, let it go. The purple light group, which is not inferior in size, roars to welcome you. When two groups of pure power collided, it was like sparks hitting the earth. The violent force swept across the ground, and one person and one bear flew away. The aftermath hit the mutated bear eating melons on the front line. Kill a mutant American black bear. The elixir was collected successfully and has been stored in the storage space. The elixir was collected successfully. Yi Bai steadied his body in some embarrassment, and secretly breathed a sigh of relief. Fortunately, he had collected the elixir. It can be automatically stored in the storage space, which is much easier. Yi Bai looked at the mutated brown bear king and saw that his golden hair was no longer as lustrous as before, and was burnt black and smoking in many places. At this moment, he could finally figure out the difference between himself and the mutated brown bear king. Generally speaking, there is no difference. You can't beat me at long range. If you're a real man, okay, a real male, let's be tough. Whoever escapes will be the grandson. Yi Bai simply pointed his middle finger at the mutant brown bear king. This was obviously a gesture that transcended species. The mutant brown bear king became so angry that he rushed towards Yi Bai with all four limbs. The distance of less than 50 meters is reached in an instant. Call. The golden bear's paws bring out the sound of biting wind, so powerful that even the most advanced armored vehicle will be flattened by it. Yi Bai still didn't hide. He took half a step back and used his strength to punch forward. Boom! The palm is dozens of times bigger than the fist, but when the fist and palm meet, the fist can withstand the power of the palm. After a slight stalemate for a few seconds, the mutant bear king roared and pressed his whole body forward. Yi Bai was knocked away and flew dozens of meters before he stabilized. Bang! Smoke and dust rise from the earth. Go-Ri is so strong. Looking at the cute bear paw-shaped pit on the ground, Yi Bai curled his lips, a little miscalculated. If I had known earlier, I would have fought remotely. What responded to him was a huge shadow. Although the mutated brown bear king was large, his movements were extremely flexible. He could jump more than 10 meters high in one leap. Yi Bai was definitely a real man. If he said he was strong from the front, he would be strong from the front. Without saying anything, Yi Bai punched him again. He couldn't fight with an ordinary punch, so let's try this one. Powerful bull demon fist. The phantom of the bull demon appeared and violently collided with the giant bear. Boom! The violent power scattered everywhere, flying sand and rocks. A figure flew dozens of meters and hit the ground directly. Now I can't even hold my body steady. Yi Bai was really annoyed. He jumped up and shouted angrily, "Transform into a beast." Exploding clothes. A 3-meter-tall demon ape appeared in front of the mutated brown bear king. Come on, let's continue. And seeing a two-legged beast suddenly turn into an ape, this really made the mutant brown bear king stunned for a long time. After reacting, He made a sound in his mouth, as if roaring, "Dead monkey, this is not your monkey mountain, this is my territory, go to hell." All four limbs ran wildly and pounced on the enemy again. However, at this time Yi Bai's whole person, the whole ape was also confused. Did the bear speak? No, I can listen to bears. It turns out that I can understand animals after transforming into a demon ape. There was no time to study further, and the Yi demon ape bared its teeth and screamed without retreating. Although he is still one size smaller than the mutant brown bear king, he will not lose too much in the scene. Speaking of men, there is an inexplicable pursuit of big things, and confidence. After transforming into a demon ape, all subtle body skills are suddenly forgotten. He collides with his opponent, pulls the opponent and delivers a brutal punch. I felt that my strength was not enough, so I remembered to use the powerful bull demon fist, and at the same time, I did not forget to stack the tiger roaring golden bell buff. After using it for several rounds, I am very satisfied with it and can stabilize the situation. Bang bang bang, ho ho ho, quack quack. After facing each other for dozens of rounds, the leaf demon ape and the mutated brown bear king simply rolled on the ground and started fighting, punching, kicking, slapping their mouths, spitting and biting. Do whatever it takes. Those mutated bears had never seen such a ferocious scene before. They were so frightened that they backed away and trembled. The two behemoths had been fighting for an unknown amount of time before the two figures separated. They were each lying on the ground, but they didn't even have the strength to get up. "Ha ha, you have no strength." The mutant brown bear king laughed excitedly. "You don't have any strength anymore." Yi Miyuan was also laughing. "I have no strength, but I still have a little brother. Why are you still standing there? Come here and kill this black monkey." The mutant brown bear king shouted to his little brother who was peeping in the distance. Yi Miyuan glanced at the mass of darkness coming this way, but his smile became even more exaggerated. "Guess what else I have?" The mutated brown bear king didn't need to answer. There were two more bowls in his palms. Naturally, they contained royal jelly. A smell that made all bears' hearts beat instantly spread over the entire summit. The mutated brown bear king's eyes widened, and a bad premonition came to his mind. "Let's go." Yi Miyuan suddenly threw it hard, and the two bowls flew across the black field and flew into the distance. Ouch! Without any hesitation, the black mass turned around and rushed towards the two bowls. Yi Miyuan took out another bowl and drank it himself, watching the mutant brown bear king swallow his saliva wildly. If he hadn't been too weak, he would have pounced on it now. After recovering some strength, Yi Miyuan stood up and smiled at the mutated brown bear king who stood up unsteadily. "Guess what else I have?" "What else do you have?" The mutant brown bear king responded stupidly. "I still have a stick." As soon as he finished speaking, Yi demon ape had a shining golden stick in his hand. He swung the stick and rushed towards the mutant brown bear king. The strong sense of crisis made the mutant brown bear king turn around and run away without hesitation, but at this time, it was exhausted and could not outrun the leaf demon ape. Call. The sound of breaking through the air came. In just a few rounds, the extraordinary alloy rod hit the mutant brown bear king hard on the head, and then there was a click sound of bones breaking. The mutant brown bear king fell heavily to the ground and rolled dozens of times before he could stop. When the bear was beaten with the stick, Yi Bai did not miss the opportunity and went straight up and gave him another good beating. Kill a king-level mutated brown bear and obtain 9 volumes of the Book of Heaven, 1 which have been stored in the storage space. Until the beep sounded, it also meant that Yi Bai had killed another king-level mutant creature, and it was also a king-level large mutant animal. However, Yi Bai was not too happy at this time. "I endured the humiliation and fought hard to kill the mutant brown bear king, but only one thing exploded." After putting away his beast form and returning to his human form, Yi Bai silently took out a set of clothes and put them on, then took out the severely damaged extraordinary alloy knife and walked towards the body of the mutated brown bear king at the foot of the hillside. Just when he was about to take action, he saw a 5-minute countdown on the mutated brown bear king's body. Only then did Yi Bai realize that he had gathering skills. 5 minutes later, I obtained a king-level mutated brown bear awakening crystal core and it has been stored in the storage space. Obtained a complete pelt of the king-level mutated brown bear king, which has been stored in the storage space. Obtained 42 teeth of the king-level mutant brown bear king. Seeing the mutated brown bear king disappearing out of thin air, Yi Bai could only call out to him, "What a good guy." Thinking of something, I quickly checked the storage space. The 9 volumes of the Heavenly Book. 1. The first volume of the 9 volumes of the Heavenly Book requires the practitioner to master a basic cultivation method already complied and take 1 awakening crystal core of a king-level mutant plant not taken. There seems to be something. Yi Bai's eyes lit up slightly. Although he only exploded one thing this time, it seemed to be pretty good. The Dalayan breathing technique has just been practiced to the point where it seems to be a bit of a bottleneck, and now a new technique has emerged, which is seamless. This character, you still have to eat the awakening crystal core of a king-level mutant plant to practice. This is a bit demanding. Yi Bai suddenly thought of the giant mutant root-penetrating vine he encountered when he first came in. This thing is probably king-level. The next stop is to look for king-level mutant creatures. After all, if you can't find them here, it will be even harder to find them outside. As Yi Bai walked back, he had not forgotten the mutated black bear corpses that were accidentally killed. According to Wang Ran's quartet, large mutated creatures, even if they are not king level, have a very small chance of awakening explosive skills. Crystal core, he felt that with his character he should be able to get one. As a result, Yi Bai failed to get what he wanted because he had no skills. This made Yi Bai a little angry. He wanted to talk to the boys of the mutated brown bear king, but he looked around at a loss. Good guy, he ran away really cleanly. No, there is only one more. A mutated American black bear crawled out of the pit shaking its head, cursing incessantly, and grabbing royal jelly for as long as it could trample him unconscious. What a good bear. I was just about to find a place to lie down when my eyes blurred and a big black monkey appeared in front of me. Monkey King, please spare my life. The mutated American black bear knelt down without saying a word. Answer my question and I will spare your life, Yi Miyuan said majestically. The mutated American black bear was overjoyed and said hurriedly, I will answer your question sincerely, Your Majesty. I like to wander around the most. I know much more than other bears. Then let me ask you, is the plant you gnawed out of the isolation zone an anti-mutant plant? Yi Bai has already figured out that there are 2 types of mutant plants. One is the mutant vine that he met before, and the other is the elixir. The king's monkey eyes are like torches. We are here to prevent mutant plants from stealing our spiritual flowers and grass. Those mutant plants are very hateful. They often steal things and hunt our kind. Then do you know where there are more mutant plants? My lord, have you lost your brain in the battle just now? Of course you have the most mutant plants. This bear's words are a bit rough. Monkey Mountain. Yes, I'll hit your head, eat my stick. Bang. The mutated American black bear fell to the ground motionless, but the bear's eyes still stared at Yi Bai with a dead eye. He agreed to answer the question and spare the bear's life. I knock, it's finally a crystal core with skills, no wonder it sounds so nice. It didn't hear Yi Muyuan's voice of surprise, otherwise it would probably be angry. After proving his character, Yi Bai gave up the idea of continuing to swipe the mutant bears. After all, the bears were very stubborn and they must be hiding tightly at the moment. It would be a waste of time to swipe them. After recalling the tour map, Yi Bai went directly to the south in the air. Monkey Mountain was a bit far away, but the White Tiger Observation Park was very close. If you are here, you might as well take a look. Just flying around, Yi Bai felt something was wrong. One of the important things that the Guangcheng Martial Arts Association explained before entering was that if you can walk, don't fly. In addition to the mysterious magnetic field above 100 meters high, there is also the fact that flying in the air can easily attract hatred. Birds in the animal world, there are many categories. How could a human who knew how to control the air be an opponent of a mutated bird that was born with the ability to fight in the air, and flying in the air would consume strength? But he had been flying for more than 10 minutes, and he was not attacked by the mutated birds. My character is excellent, but it can't be that good, right? After thinking for a while, Yi Bai decisively decided to walk forward. At the foot of the hill is a small hill. More than 70% of the area is occupied by a tree that can no longer be seen as it is, white and brown, with a twisted trunk. The ground is covered with a thick layer of rotten branches and leaves. Walking on it makes you feel uncomfortable. People have an uneasy sense of crisis. You can also smell a weird fragrance at the same time. Yi Bai immediately became wary when he smelled this fragrance, but he soon discovered that the smell of this fragrance would make people feel uncomfortable, and it was not harmful in itself. There are no traces of human activities here. Logically speaking, mutated animals should be quite common here. But after walking for 10 minutes, there was still a mutated animal. No, not even a living creature was seen. Yi Bai silently took out the battle-damaged version of the extraordinary alloy knife, raised the knife and swiped it forward. A violent cyclone swept out, and his vision was blurred, blocked by the dead branches and rotten leaves in the sky. After his vision became clear, Yi Bai looked at the open space he had cleared in front of him. To be precise, it was not an open space because there was still a layer of white bones on it. It was impossible to tell what kind of animal bones they were, because they were crushed into pieces. A faint rancid smell can also be smelled. You clean your bones after eating. You are more hygienic than us humans. Yi Bai raised his eyebrows and continued to walk forward, but his pace was a little faster. After all, walking on a road paved with animal bones was not good for his senses. Walking out of the hill, there is a human building next to it. The shape has collapsed into shape, but the words White Tiger Observation Park can be vaguely seen on the iron billboard. Outside humans, including Yi Bai, had previously believed that the mutated white tiger was the overlord of the world, both in terms of numbers and individual combat power. But when Yi Bai walked into the White Tiger Observation Park, he saw piles of buried bones, and not even an overlord could be seen. Hiss, even the white tiger was actually wiped out by the group. It's really terrifying this time. This made him ignore the issue of global warming. He couldn't help but sucked in a breath of cold air and felt a little numb. This means that there really is something more terrifying than the mutated white tigers here. Yi Bai stood at the highest point of the White Tiger Observation Park. In front of him was a piece of fertile soil, which looked exactly like the land with elixirs growing on the top of the bear habitat. It's just that it's bare, and there's not a single elixir in sight. There are no traces of fighting, so these white tigers died in instant kills or sneak attacks, and they also stripped away all the elixirs, so are they, mutated plants. Yi Bai thought of the giant mutated root-penetrating vine and pretended to make a sneak attack. This thing definitely met the requirements. Of course, it cannot be ruled out that other mutated plants are responsible. Didi, a rushing voice sounded. Yi Bai was stunned for a moment and looked down at the positioning bracelet on his wrist. The sound was coming from the bracelet. There is a small screen on the bracelet, which displays, NA 13.25. 13.25 kilometers northeast. Yi Bai was stunned. Isn't this the place near the north gate when he came in? Is there something wrong with my wife? No, the hunting team cannot send positioning signals, only the official has this authority. After thinking about it, Yi Bai decided to give the officials some face and flew toward the northeast. Different from the careful precautions he took when heading south, this time he was as arrogant as he wanted to be, and from time to time he fired a few shots at the ground. Arrow. Kill a mutant squirrel and get a piece of fine gold, which has been stored in the storage space. Kill a mutant hare and get a moonstone, which has been stored in the storage space. Kill a mutated pheasant and get a basic collection skill. There are gains, but not enough to see. The key is that Yi Bai still hasn't encountered any attacks from birds, large mutated animals, or mutated plants. You must know that he is now in the inner area of the animal world, a dangerous area designated by the Guangcheng Martial Arts Association. It's not scary to see large mutated creatures everywhere. What's scary is that the large mutated creatures don't even pay attention to you. Inner area, a certain piece of grass. A human team was lying on the ground. 100 meters away from their field of vision, a group of hares were happily eating grass. There are more than 20 of them, including 8 mutant hares. At this scale, it was undoubtedly a tough battle for them with only about 20 people, so they chose to lay an ambush. The rabbits were also very cooperative and gradually moved towards them. 80 meters, 50 meters, 30 meters. It has entered the range of the long-range attacker. Wait a little longer and start again when you are about 20 meters away. Control the field and pay attention to the timing so that they don't run away. As the captain spoke, his eyes suddenly widened. In his sight, a purple meteor fell from the sky and landed accurately among the rabbits. Boom! The dust scattered, splashing on their heads and faces, and all the monsters were robbed at the same time. Before they could see clearly what was going on, a figure fell lightly and landed in front of them. Yi Shen. He was the captain after all, so he woke up quickly. Well, hello, I want to ask, did your bracelets receive any signal? Yi Bai looked at more than 20 confused faces with a very kind expression. Wristband. The captain looked at his bracelet subconsciously and shook his head. No. Have you ever encountered any large mutated creatures after you have been here for so long? No, but we saw a walking tree last night. A walking tree. How big is it? About 2 or 3 stories high. Well, thanks, this is the consulting fee. Yi Bai raised his hand and dropped something, and Yukong continued to fly towards the northeast. Captain, why is the awakening crystal core in your hand so big? The captain was awakened by his teammates' curious voices. He opened his hands and looked, only to realize that what Yi Bai threw to him was an awakening crystal core. He looked at it carefully and blurted out, "Holy shit, the awakening crystal core of a large mutated animal." In this case, even though all the mobs have been robbed, it doesn't seem like a loss. As expected of Yi Shen, I will give you the awakening crystal core of a large mutated animal whenever you ask. This is the pattern, this is the foundation, this is the strongest awakened person. Needless to say, killing the large mutated animal Yi Shen must be like killing a chicken. If I were Yi Shen, this sentence is so attractive. Standing alone in the spotlight and escaping from the shade, I don't want to face the darkness. The daydream is broken and I wake up full of lingering sounds. This sentence is the lyrics, it's okay if you don't understand it. Looking at the figure that was gradually going away, everyone couldn't help but sigh one by one, feeling longing in their hearts and looking up at the mountains. Chapter 101. If you don't consider the danger, a straight line of more than 10 kilometers is not far for Yi Bai. However, while traveling to this not-so-distant place, the position signal of the positioning bracelet changed 3 times in a row. When the position signal was updated for the 4th time, he finally caught up. When he saw the stone mountain stretching for several miles, Yi Bai immediately realized, isn't this still Baihu Mountain? This is the most dangerous area repeatedly identified by the Guangcheng Wushu Association, but looking at the large group of people gathered at the foot of the mountain, why does he feel untrustworthy? Yi Shen is here. Yi Bai, robber. At the same time, people in the mountain call also found Yi Bai in the air, and all kinds of names rang out for a while. Yi Bai saw clearly who they were, and his heart beat a few times, but his face remained calm. Baby, give us the baby. As soon as he landed, an angry loli pounced on him. There were 3 other people beside them. Although they did not speak, their eyes looking at Yi Bai were full of indignation and resentment. What baby? I don't know what you are talking about. Please don't be so affectionate, okay? What should I do if my little Qingmaru finds out? Yi Bai pushed away Wang Shasha who was about to get slapped in the face. Wang Shasha thought that Yi Bai would be ashamed and would not dare to face him no matter what, but she never expected that he would not change his expression. You still don't admit that the stolen goods are here, can you save some face? At that moment, she pointed at the 3 backpacks still hanging on Yi Bai's body, her teeth chattering with anger. Oh, you said these 3 backpacks were thrown on the ground and no one wanted them. Of course if I picked them up, they would be mine. Even if there is a lawsuit, I will be responsible for this. Yi Bai looked serious. Are you still reasonable? I will fight you. Han Fei, don't stop me. I will die with him. Wang Shasha was hugged by Han Fei and still tried to kick Yi Bai, but her legs were a little short and she couldn't kick her. Don't make trouble, the most you can do is die in front of him. After Han Fei held Wang Shasha down, she raised her head and looked at Yi Bai coldly. After all, we are friends who have fought side by side. It is unethical for you to do this. Since we are friends fighting side by side, why do you secretly farm mutant bears? Yi Bai said with a faint smile. We don't know each other very well, why should I take you there? Han Fei's expression changed. Yi Bai spread his hands. Yes, we don't know each other very well. Why should I return the things I picked up based on my ability to you? But you still used us to draw hatred from the mutant brown bear king. Han Fei glared at Yi Bai. Compared with having their treasure taken away, this was what made them most angry. After all, Being robbed is just because you are inferior to others, and it is not unacceptable, but to be used by Yi Bai, it is pure IQ friction. After all, they are genius awakeners, they cannot accept such an insult. How can this be considered taking advantage? I saw you in danger, so I tried my best to save you. You are not grateful. You are stupid. I'm not talking nonsense. I just asked if your lives were hanging by a thread at that time. Quote. So what? It's not you. Don't talk about whether there is something or not. Just tell me whether I succeeded in saving him or not. Yi Bai said confidently. Han Fei opened her mouth. She had a lot to say, but she didn't know where to start. Don't be embarrassed, this matter is over. After hearing this, Wang Ran regained his composure. He even showed a friendly smile to Yi Bai and said, so, we are still friends, right? What are you talking about? If I'm not a friend, would I risk my life to save you? Yi Bai smiled slightly, appearing very friendly. Wang Ran. After all, he was not as shameless as Yi Bai, so he could only ask his teammates to stand aside and say nothing. Without the entanglement of the four good friends, Yi Bai had time to look at the others and secretly said, good guy. Kui Shan, the president of the Guangcheng Wushu Association, led a team of director-level members, and Zhang, the vice president of the General Association. Kunlun also brought an elite team. In addition, all the members of the Long Aocean team that Yi Bai had followed were there, as well as a scattering of about 20 people, who were basically familiar. Coupled with the foursome of himself and Wang Ran, it can be said that the high-end combat power of the Guangcheng Martial Arts Association, the elites sent by the General Association, and the strongest group of people in the hunting team are all here. Well, the weakest one among them is probably 50-50 equal to my uncle. Regarding Yi Bai's arrival, Kui Shan just glanced and nodded, and then continued to remain silent. The other masters of the hunting team looked at him from time to time, and their eyes were not friendly. However, when Zhang Kunlun saw that the exchange between Yi Bai and Wang Ran was over, he walked forward with a smile. Yi Bai, you came just in time. Let me tell you about the situation. You say. The old man was always polite, and Yi Bai was also very polite. It's like this. Something big has happened in the wild animal world now. The mutated white tiger group has been wiped out. Zhang Kunlun observed Yi Bai's expression when he was talking. He was a little surprised. Yi Bai was not surprised at all. Instead, he nodded from time to time and said that was the case. According to the information we have received, several king-level mutant plants have appeared in the animal world. They are hunting other mutant creatures and elixirs. All birds and mutant white tiger groups have been wiped out, and other mutant animals are about to be killed. Absolutely. Yeah, but some of us saw the mutant white tiger king entering Monkey Mountain alone. We don't know what's going on there yet. Now we have to wait for the spies to come back with information. Zhang Kunlun's face was solemn. King-level mutant plants are too terrifying. Once they eat up all the animals in the animal world, they will inevitably move towards the outside world. Our high-voltage power grid cannot stop them at all. Once they are allowed to enter our human body, the range of activities would be a huge disaster. You are also concerned about the elixir, right? Yi Bai said calmly. This is also one aspect. There are 5 places in the inner area that have been found to be suitable for long-term growth of elixirs. We must master these places. Zhang Kunlun did not deny it. Yi Bai suddenly realized that there are 2 special pieces of soil at the top of the bear habitat and the highest point of the White Tiger Observation Park. It turns out that elixirs can continue to grow. The government will definitely not let go of renewable elixir resources. From this point of view, as long as the situation on the Monkey Mountain side is discovered, humans will definitely take action against those king-level mutant plants. How many king-level mutant plants are there in total? Yi Bai asked. At least 3 plants, the details are unknown. Zhang Kunlun looked heavy. 3 or more plants. Yi Bai imagined the scene in his mind and quickly came to the conclusion that the group of people in front of him seemed not enough to fight. If all the human combat power is called on, then, well, since the king-level mutant plants are so big, don't expect to be able to kill them. No wonder Kui Shan looked so bad. President, I'm back. Fortunately, I have fulfilled my mission. At this time, a sudden sound attracted everyone's attention. Yi Bai followed the sound and saw nothing, but immediately a person gradually appeared in his field of vision. Invisibility talent. Many people present also expressed envy, jealousy and hatred. This is an ability that many people only dreamed of when they were young and ignorant. Of course, it's just a dream now. What did you find? Kui Shan asked quickly. The invisible brother grinned and said, I found a lot of traces of king-level mutant plants on the Monkey Mountain. In addition to the 3 that were discovered, there were traces of another one. In addition, I also saw various mutant apes. During the inspection, the atmosphere was very tense, and it looked like the 2 sides were going to have a big fight. You said those mutant monkeys are going to fight 4 king-level mutant plants. Hearing this, a young man suddenly laughed. These monkeys are so clever, aren't they delivering food? Yi Bai glanced at this man, and he looked very familiar. He was the captain of the Long Ocean team. He and his teammates were laughing, and they didn't know what they were laughing at. But the transparent brother explained with a serious face, you can't say that. These mutated apes have high IQs, have patrol teams, know how to use weapons, and have strict discipline. It is not an exaggeration to say they are an army. An army composed of monkeys, haha, it sounds funny. President, why don't we wait for those 4 king-level mutant plants to clean up Monkey Mountain, and then we can go in and destroy them? Captain Long Ocean looked disdainful. Kui Shan glanced at him and said nothing. Apes have very high IQs, which should be different from other mutated animals. Especially the Monkey King's IQ is really likely to be as good as that of humans. Zhang Kunlun, as the vice president of the General Association, knew more. He suggested to Kui Shan, how about we go to Monkey Mountain now and try to communicate with the Monkey King to see if we can join forces to deal with the mutated plants. Well, you might as well give it a try. Kui Shan thought for a while and nodded. The enemy of my enemy is my friend. Although this idea is too far-fetched, you won't suffer any loss if you try it, and it's also a matter of going to Monkey Mountain. Everyone, we are entering Monkey Mountain now. It is very dangerous inside. If you don't want to, you can leave on your own. Kui Shan looked at the whole audience with his eyes. The official people will naturally not be swayed in the slightest, but those who sign up should think carefully. Now there are 4 king-level mutant plants in Monkey Mountain. President Kui, what are the benefits if we help kill the king-level mutant plants? Captain Long Ocean showed off his presence again. Kui Shan looked at him and said calmly, the Great Elder has signed a document to form 2 legions of Awakeners. Among them, the Great Wall Legion Martial Arts Association is the main recommendation platform. Anyone who follows me and fights to the death without retreating can get the position of captain of 100. Those who have made significant contributions can be given the position of commander of a 1,000-man guard. You may not have any idea about the Centurion commander and the 1,000-man commander. Let's put it this way. The 1,000-man commander is a position in charge of one party. He is directly responsible to the center. His power is only higher than that of the city lord of a city. Everyone who was originally uninterested suddenly brightened up when they heard the explanation of the concept behind it. Being directly responsible for the center and benchmarking against the city lord is undoubtedly a step to the top for everyone present. Yi Bai was also excited. Although he does not have to worry about the development of resources, as a commander, it is equivalent to following the country. The key is to sit on one side and not have anyone to tell you what to do. This command makes me, Shenao, determined. Hearing this, Captain Long Ocean was very high-spirited and did not forget to scan the other competitors as he spoke. He looked like you are all trash, but you are worthy of his name. Shenao, you think the 4 of us are just for show, and the commander is ours. Zhang Tianming sneered back. Shenao glanced at him and said, there are only 4 of you, so you are not qualified to compete with us. It's no big deal to bully the minority. If you have the guts, let's fight. Why do I have to fight alone when there are so many people? However, we are all considered family friends. Why don't you come to our side and share some of the credit when the time comes? Shenao was talking while looking at Han Fei with hot eyes. No need, we don't agree with each other, the 4 of us are enough. Han Fei looked cold. Wang Shasha rolled her eyes and snorted. Shenao, if you still want to pursue Feifei, go ahead and have a big dream, she likes Yi Shen. As soon as the words came out, Shenao was stunned, Han Fei was stunned, Yi Bai. He turned and left. Mad Lolita is fierce and has a strong desire for revenge. Stop, Yi Bai turned around and smiled. What's the matter? Listen, I don't care if you are Yi Shen or some other god. Han Fei is the person that I, Shen Ao, like. You'd better give up on me, otherwise you'll hit me. Yi Bai interrupted with a smile. Shen Ao was stunned for a moment and said angrily, do you think I don't dare? Then don't be rude and do it, I promise to beat you to death. Yi Bai's smile did not change. Although he is not happy to be used by Wang Shasha, if this inexplicably proud guy insists on getting together, he doesn't mind killing people. Maybe something good will come out. Yi Bai was so tough that he couldn't defeat Shen Ao because he couldn't beat him. It took him a long time to say, do you know who I am? Before Yi Bai had time to respond, Kui Shanhei's sullen voice rang out, that's enough. If you want to be jealous, go out and fight again. Boy, just wait, you will know how powerful I, Shen Ao, am. Shen Ao glared at Yi Bai fiercely and left a harsh message. He was afraid that he would be beaten if it was too late, so he took the lead in walking towards the Monkey Mountain, followed by 19 teammates following him with arrogance. Under the general trend of global evolution, some people's mentality is different. Zhang Kunlun said with a smile. Kui Shan frowned slightly, then quickly relaxed, let's go. It's not interesting. Yi Bai shrugged. Just as he was about to follow, he thought of something and walked up to Han Fei with a serious expression. What are you going to do? Han Fei was startled. Secret love is hurtful to both the mind and the body. You have to speak out boldly next time, you know. Yi Bai patted Han Fei on the shoulder sincerely, then turned and left. Han Fei was stunned again, and it took a long time for her voice to sound embarrassed and angry. I won't say cough next time, and I won't say it this time either. In short, I don't have a crush on you at all. It was a bit late to say this, Yi Bai had already walked far away. It's all your fault. Han Fei glared at Wang Shasha fiercely and stamped her feet to follow the team. Wang Shasha felt aggrieved and looked at her cousin eagerly. Fei has never been cruel to me, but now she is cruel to me because of Yi Bai. She has changed. This logic. Wang Ran felt a little dizzy. Soon, we entered the Monkey Mountain range. It is said to be Monkey Mountain, but it is actually a forest park, except that there is a medium-sized mountain in the center. A group of human masters just stepped into the forest park. Before they could take a look, a group of mutant monkeys appeared in their field of vision. Be patient, don't make the first move. Seeing a group of mutated monkeys rushing towards them, Kui Shan warned everyone without changing his expression. This was obviously the right decision. This group of monkeys came over and did not fight directly. Instead, they stopped in front of everyone and stared at them eagerly. Everyone also looked at this group of monkeys curiously. Just as the invisible brother said, these monkeys are holding weapons, but the standard is not standard. Some are polished wooden sticks, some are bone sticks, and some don't know what kind of stone sharpeners they have. A powerful weapon. Judging from the appearance, they are all mutant macaques, only over 1.8 meters tall, with well-developed muscles and full of pressure. Ji, the largest mutated macaque stood up and shouted at the human. Can't understand. Kui Shan turned to look at everyone. Whoever among you can communicate with them successfully will get the position of 100% captain. That has to be me. Yi Bai's heart moved, but he held back the words when he reached his throat and took a step back. He seemed to have an idea suddenly. I have the talent to control beasts, let me try it. At this moment, a person emerged from the crowd. Kui Shan nodded. Let him take us to see the Monkey King. Okay. I saw the beast-controlling brother walking up to the little leader of the suspected mutated macaques, opening his mouth and saying, Abba, Abba. Abba Bian's body was still singing and dancing. Everyone was shocked. Could this be communication on the same channel? It turns out that it is really the same channel. The little mutant macaque leader was silent for a long time, and then began to sing and dance, squeaking non-stop. Abba, Abba, squeak, squeak, squeak. One person and one monkey are communicating intensely. After a long time, Brother Yusha wiped the sweat from his forehead and came back to report to Kui Shan, President Kui is fine. He promised to take us to see his superiors. Well, what else? What, didn't you chat for more than 10 minutes? Apart from this reply, what else did you talk about? No, let's just talk about this answer. Oh, you may have misunderstood. The communication between humans and animals is different. Maybe you think we talked a lot, but in fact we only talked about going up the mountain to see the Monkey King. I'm not going to lie to you, this is my experience. The beast-controlling brother explained seriously. Everyone, well, let it lead the way. Okay. Abba, Abba, squeak, squeak, squeak. Another 10 minutes passed, and the mutated macaque leader led everyone towards the Monkey Mountain. No one noticed that as they walked, one person was missing from the team. No one saw a human hiding behind a tree. When he came out again, he was already a black giant ape more than 3 meters tall. It takes more than 10 minutes to talk for one sentence. I don't know when I will meet the Monkey King. The important task of protecting people's lives and property must be left to me. Yi Miyuan swaggered towards Monkey Mountain from the other side. This was his idea, to find his own way, and everyone went their own way. Not long after walking, they met a group of mutated macaques, and both parties were stunned for a moment. The little leader of the mutated macaques reacted quickly and said hello quickly, I've met you, sir. Meet the adults. The other mutated macaques quickly followed. Their Monkey Mountain has a strict hierarchy. The Monkey King is the supreme being, and there are only a few adults below. This is called communication. Demonic ape Yi Bai showed a pleased smile and nodded reservedly. Well, where is our king now? The king is on the mountain. Who else is here besides the king? After receiving the king's summons, all the adults are on the mountain. Why are you at the bottom of the mountain? Is this something you can ask about? Yi Bai pretended to be a little angry. I made a mistake, sir, please don't blame me. The macaque said quickly. Even if you admit your mistake quickly, didn't it mean that a big white insect just came in? Where is it? White bug. Oh, are you talking about the White Tiger King? He went up the mountain to see the king. We must unite to deal with those nasty tree demons. Okay, you can continue patrolling. The patrolling monkeys left respectfully. Your Excellency is second only to the king, and I am also an adult. Well, I have to walk a little more arrogantly. Confirming that his status was very high, Yi Miyuan stopped being polite and ran all the way. Indeed, no monkey or ape dared to stop him. After some concern for his subordinates, he also learned that the entire Monkey Mountain had been set up with 4 levels of checkpoints. In other words, if Quishan and others want to meet the Monkey King, they have to go through at least 4 rounds of communication. With their communication speed, I'm afraid it will take more than an hour at the earliest, right? After more than an hour, it was still not safe. Yi Miyuan turned a corner and found the monkey in charge of the 4th level, a mutant gibbon. A group of humans will come up the mountain later. Find a reason to detain them, do you know? Yi Miyuan didn't explain, but gave orders directly. This powerful mutated long-armed monkey was stunned and scratched his head. Sir, I can't think of a reason. Yi Miyuan, there's a guy in that group of humans who's all dressed in black. If you catch him, hang him up, and beat him, is that okay? All black, hang up and beat. Sir, I know how to do it. The mutated gibbon has a serious face. Well, just hit this one person. Let the others wait. Yi Miyuan patted his men on the shoulders with satisfaction, turned around and walked up the mountain. When we arrived at the mountain, we saw 3 big characters, Shuiliandong. The first thing that came to my mind. Then I realized that this was an attraction originally built by the zoo, imitating the water curtain cave in Wagwo Mountain. There were 2 ugly mutated baboons standing at the door. When they saw the Yi demon monkey approaching, confusion suddenly appeared in their eyes. This adult is very strange. I've met my lord. I haven't seen it before, but there is no distinction between superiority and inferiority. Yi Miyuan ignored them and strode straight in. Inside was an empty hall with a staircase in the middle and a stone seat at the top. There is a monkey on the seat. A golden monkey is about the same size as a normal human. The hair on its body is even more dazzlingly golden than that of the mutated brown bear king. Its red eyes are also very attractive. On both sides of the stairs, there are all kinds of mutant animals as big as cows and horses, among which apes and monkeys account for more than half. With the size of Yi demon ape, he would not even be ranked among the top 5. The most eye-catching thing is the white tiger lying in the front on the left. It is all white and its body length is more than 6 meters. It is very scary just lying there. This picture, why does it look a bit like Lengshan Jui Hall? Yi Miyuan looked at these big guys, and the big guys were also looking at him. Where are you from? The golden monkey on the steps spoke. Come on, your majesty has designated this one. It's a long story, so I won't go into it. Yi Miyuan grinned. Monkey King. Then what's the matter with you? The Monkey King was not angry at all. Yes, it's still urgent, but before I say anything, I want to ask the king, do you think we can defeat those tree demons? Yi Miyuan asked with a serious face. Buzz. The meeting hall became agitated. All because this is what they have been discussing. With our current strength, we should not be able to defeat them, but I am going to contact the Brown Bear King of the Bear Territory. If he joins us, we will have a better chance of winning. The Monkey King said. No need, I just came from the territory of the Brown Bear King. It has already died tragically at the hands of the tree demon. Yi Miyuan spoke with a serious tone, even squeezing the corners of his eyes as he spoke, but unfortunately he couldn't squeeze out crocodile tears, so he had no choice but to give up. The Brown Bear King is dead. How is it possible? The two tree demons left my territory and immediately returned here. How is it possible that there is still time to kill the Brown Bear King? Upon hearing the news, the mutated White Tiger King stood up, looked at Yi Bai with distrustful eyes. Good guy, he is 1.8 meters tall when he stands on all four legs. He is so handsome. Seeing this, Yi Miyuan couldn't help but feel a little disgusted with his animal form. The appearance was indeed a bit stretched, which made him a bit fierce. He was thinking randomly in his mind, but he said seriously on his face, I, the demon ape, have never lied in my life. The Brown Bear King is really dead. As he spoke, he opened his claws, and a huge crystal core lay quietly in his palm. The Brown Bear King is really dead. The mutated White Tiger King roared and lay down again. The other big guys looked at the crystal core in Yi Miyuan's hand, and their faces looked heavy. This was probably because the rabbit was dead and the fox was sad. The dryads, their purpose is to turn us all into nutrients. The Monkey King's red eyes looked at Yi Miyuan. Continue talking about your urgent matter. Oh my god, mutant animals are so easy to trick. Yi Miyuan stabilized his mind and continued. As the king said, after I found out that the Brown Bear King was dead, I knew that we had reached a life or death situation, so I decisively contacted humans. Humanity, humanity. There were exclamations in the meeting hall. For the human species, their senses are very complex. On the one hand, when their bodies have not changed, humans seem to be very good to them, providing them with good food and drinks every day. On the other hand, after the change, genes are telling them that humans are hateful existences. Yes, I contacted humans and convinced them to join forces with us to deal with those tree demons. Yi Miyuan looked righteous and awe-inspiring. Can humans be trusted? Asked the Monkey King. You can trust it, Yi Miyuan said with certainty. How can you guarantee that? Human beings are very cunning. The White Tiger King said quietly. I guarantee it on my own terms, and I won't hide it from everyone. In fact, hey, you can take a look. Yi Miyuan sighed heavily, his face full of sadness. Just when the beasts were confused, they saw his body twisting for a while, and then become a human. Oh ho, everyone stood up. Being stared at by so many fierce beasts, Yi Bai calmly transformed into a demon ape, with a sigh on his face. To be honest with you, I actually have human blood. If you want to ask why I have human blood, then it's a long story, so I'll just keep it simple. My ancestor was a male human being who was lost in the forest. The most beautiful queen in the monkey tribe was grateful to my ancestor, so she married him, mated. So after evolving, I have the ability to transform into an adult. The abilities of human beings and demonic apes. If you look at how beautiful I am, you will know how beautiful my monkey ancestors are. As long as he has a kindergarten diploma, all the big guys present don't believe Yi Miyuan's explanation. Too bad they don't. After carefully looking at the Yi demon ape, the Monkey King nodded seriously. You are indeed very good looking. It can't be the female Monkey King, right? Yi Miyuan's heart skipped a beat. So you can communicate with humans and make them trust you, right? The White Tiger King asked. Yi Miyuan nodded. Yes, there must be a distribution of benefits when we join forces. I can help you negotiate with humans and strive for the greatest benefits. The bossmons showed interested expressions. Seeing this, Yi Miyuan took another dose of strong medicine. Actually, we have no way out, right? Yes. After thinking for a while, the Monkey King nodded heavily. He walked down the stairs and came to the Yi Demon Ape. Then you can talk to humans on our behalf. No problem, Your Majesty. Oh no, do we have any demands? Yi Miyuan suppressed the ecstasy in his heart. Our request is very simple. After killing the tree demon, humans cannot disturb us. In return, we will not disturb humans. The Monkey King said this without thinking. Ah, that's it. Yi Bai looked at the other boss beasts, and all of them nodded, saying yes, yes, yes. Yi Miyuan put his hand on his chest, feeling a dull pain in his conscience. Your Majesty, everyone, please rest assured, I will definitely complete the mission. Hurry up, the tree demons are restless. We will wait here for you to come back. Okay. Yi Miyuan turned around and strode away. The Monkey King stood there looking at his back and touched the back of his head, feeling that something was wrong. After leaving the water curtain cave, Yi Bai ran non-stop towards the mountainside. At this time, it is on the mountainside. A large group of people were standing on the roadside. A 2-5-meter tall mutated gibbon was standing on the other side of the road with a large group of younger brothers. There was a big tree branch stuck in the middle of the road, and a vine hung from the tree branch. A person is tied to a vine. Paw, paw, paw. A mutated macaque swung the stick vigorously, hitting the man again and again. That man was also tough and silent. Seeing this scene, Yi Miyuan felt relieved and slowed down and walked. Even though it had been more than 10 minutes since the incident happened, Kui Shan and his party were still confused. They had already communicated well before. Seeing that they were reaching the mountainside, why did the mutated gibbon insist on killing Shenao? Tied up and beaten. And they were invited to watch. That's off the mark. Are you sure there was nothing wrong with the communication? Kui Shan asked Brother Yusho again. Brother Yushu seemed to be insulted, jumped to his feet and shouted, absolutely right. Then please explain, why did they hang Mr. Shen up and beat him? A young man said angrily. Brother Yusho spread his hands. Didn't I ask? They said it was an order from a superior. Another yellow-haired young man grabbed Brother Yusho by the collar. I think you were the one who encouraged these monkeys to beat up young Master Shen. Let him go. Kui Shan looked at the yellow-haired young man coldly. The yellow-haired young man subconsciously let go of his hand, but immediately looked at Kui Shan with his neck stiffened. President Kui, if the fight lasts a little longer, young Master Shen will not be able to hold it anymore. Don't blame us for taking action then. Look, there's a big guy coming. Someone shouted. Everyone hurriedly looked up the mountain. The tall figure in the distance was very eye-catching. Brother Yusho said in surprise, this is an adult-level existence. He must be taking us up the mountain. The yellow-haired young man and his entourage also breathed a sigh of relief when they saw this. Young Master Shen was finally going to end the unprovoked beating. Come so soon. Wang Shasha's face was full of pity. It would be better if this monkey master came later. Shenao would not be able to bear it any longer. Wang Shasha looked at Master Monkey who was getting closer and closer, her eyes getting wider and wider. This, sir, looks very familiar. Not only Wang Shasha, many people thought she looked familiar. When the monkey master walked up to him, he was quick to respond and already shouted. Isn't this Yi Shen's demonic ape transformation? One word awakens the dreamer. It's really, exactly the same. I want to talk to these humans alone, so be on guard. Yi Demon Ape ordered the alien gibbon Demon Ape. The latter responded quickly, led all the younger brothers to a distance, and began to be on guard seriously. After sending the younger brother away, Yi Miyuan looked at the hanging man. When he looked at it, he couldn't help but said, Mater, you are still walking a long way. Saying that, he lifted his beast form. It was indeed Yi Bai. But, why is he here, and why does the mutant gibbon listen to him? Everyone's thoughts were confused. Yi Bai, can you communicate with mutated apes? Kui Shan asked. Yi Bai nodded, and without waiting for Kui Shan to ask again, he continued, don't ask, just ask because I took veterinary medicine as an elective in college. Kui Shan, so, it was your fault to stop us here and let the mutant gibbon hang up Shenao and beat him. Kui Shanhei's tone turned cold. Yes, Yi Bai admitted openly. The expressions of many people in the crowd changed. As soon as Shenao slapped Yi Bai on his front foot, Yi Bai asked the mutant monkey to hang him up and beat him on his back foot. This man holds a grudge. You seem to be confident. Kui Shanhei's face was expressionless, making it unclear what he was thinking. Yes, Yi Bai admitted in seconds. Kui Shan looked at him, and after a while, 3 words came out of his mouth, "You have the guts." "Let's be honest, what do you want?" Zhang Kunlun answered with a smile. He had gained some experience after communicating with Yi Bai so many times. "What do you mean what I want?" "That's what we want." Yi Bai seriously corrected Zhang Kunlun's words, and then smiled. "Our goal is to join forces with the Monkey King, right?" "Yes." Zhang Kunlun nodded. "Just now, I worked hard, racked my brains, endured humiliation, and narrowly escaped death, and finally convinced the Monkey King to form an alliance with us." Yi Bai's words have a high artistic content. But Kui Shan and Zhang Kunlun showed joy. The former immediately asked, "How many combat forces are there on the Monkey King's side, and the tree demons?" "Hey President Kui, it won't be too late to discuss these matters later. Let's discuss the terms now." Yi Bai straightened his expression. "Conditions? What conditions?" "It's the condition after killing the tree demon." Kui Shan was stunned and said in a deep voice, "What conditions does the Monkey King want?" "It wants to take over the entire wildlife world." "Impossible, I would say. How is this possible?" So I slapped the table and stood up, argued with reason, and yelled. "Tell the important point." "I convinced the Monkey King to divide the entire Monkey Mountain, including the forest park, to the Monkey King. After killing the tree demon, it will include all mutant creatures in its management. Then the Monkey King is also willing to help us take care of all the elixir treasures. When the time comes, all output is divided into 40 and 60, 4 for them and 6 for us. There are also a few additional clauses, such as non-aggression, and occasionally helping out if necessary." Yi Bai told the conditions, and everyone present felt. Good deal. It directly solves the major hidden danger in the wild animal world and achieves the purpose of obtaining the elixir. It does not require heavy troops to take care of it, and you can make money just by lying down. Are you sure the Monkey King's conditions are like this? Kui Shan looked at Yi Bai. The latter responded calmly, "I'm sure." "Okay, I can agree to this condition. Let's go up the mountain to see the Monkey King." Kui Shan agreed neatly. Yi Bai stopped Kui Shan, who was about to leave. Facing his puzzled gaze, he smiled shyly. "President Kui, I don't know how much my contribution is worth." Kui Shanhei's eyes flashed and he said, "Thousands of people are in command." "That's what you said. I've fallen out because I defaulted on my debt. Let's talk about it later. Don't be nervous. Just treat this as your own home." As he spoke, the Yi Demon Ape reappeared and greeted everyone enthusiastically. "It seems that I am not so nervous anymore." Kui Shan and Zhang Kunlun followed, and the others followed closely behind. Behind the crowd, Wang Shasha pulled Han Fei's hand and asked in a low voice, "Fei, can elective veterinarians really communicate with animals?" Han Fei first looked at Wang Shasha in surprise, then gently stroked her head. "In short, you just don't even believe the punctuation marks in every word Yi Bai said." Not long after, humans and boss beasts formally met. The number of both sides was about the same. Unfortunately, there were no seats at the venue, so the guests could only stand. But this didn't stop them from sizing each other up. Yi Miyuan took a few steps up the stairs and whispered in the Monkey King's ear. "Really?" Humans agreed. The Monkey King looked surprised. "I agreed, and I also won the right to share the elixir. We only need to patrol daily and we can get 20% of the elixir." Yi Miyuan said very proudly. The Monkey King was even more pleased that the elixir was an important way to increase strength for mutant animals like them. "You did a great job, Demon Ape. When you kill those tree demons, I will have a gift for you." "Ah, how embarrassing is that? Oh, by the way, Your Majesty, humans also put forward other conditions." Yi Miyuan muttered again. The Monkey King quickly nodded and said, "It's not too much to ask for half of the elixirs in Monkey Mountain. As for trading resources with each other, this is a good thing. Tell them that I agree. Your Majesty, tell me what you want to say to humans, and I will convey it to you." "I almost forgot, there's going to be a decisive battle with the tree demons soon, so let them get ready." "Okay." Yi Miyuan stood up and looked at Kui Shan, speaking loudly, The Monkey King said that there will be a decisive battle with the tree demons soon, we must be prepared. You guys have been chatting for so long, and this is all it takes. Kui Shan still couldn't help but question. Yi Miyuan spread his hands. Beast language is different from human language. Even though we have said so much, the translation is just like this. If you don't believe me, ask Brother Beast Controller. What's wrong with bullying you because you don't know bestiality? I, Yi Miyuan, will definitely eat the price difference between these two. I only know some basic communication gestures, but how can I understand purebred animal language? Brother Yusho complained in his heart, but facing Kui Shanhei's gaze, he nodded firmly, that's right. Li, a whistle came, and everyone followed the sound and looked outside the cave. I saw a giant bird flying in, spreading its wings as if to cover the sky and the sun. It looked majestic and majestic. What a handsome eagle. However, it only lasted 3 seconds. The big eagle glided too hard and fell to his knees on the ground. The king is not good, the tree demon is coming. The news brought back by the big eagle made the air in Shuiliandong stagnant. Subconsciously, the eyes of both humans and animals turned to the Monkey King. The Monkey King jumped up and stepped on the throne. 2 red rays of light flew out of the cave and then quickly retracted. His figure disappeared from everyone's sight in a few consecutive flashes. All the 5 tree demons are coming. If you don't want to become their blood food, come with me. Only its voice echoed in the cave. Kui Shan and Zhang Kunlun looked at each other, and they both saw shock in each other's eyes. This Monkey King was worse than they imagined. Not simple. What did the Monkey King say? Kui Shan asked Yi Miyuan. At this time, all the bosses in the cave were screaming and running out of the cave. The tree demon is forcing the team, and the Monkey King is going to take over this wave of team battles. Yi Miyuan's translation was concise and concise. What else is there to say? Join the group. Human beings are also following up in droves. The Guangcheng Martial Arts Association's current goals have shifted somewhat, and elixirs have become secondary. Dealing with the tree demon is the top priority. Feeding on all life, this thing is too dangerous. In the entire Chimelong wildlife world, the largest forest area is definitely the Monkey Mountain. The play area that humans can set foot on is a forest park, and the place that humans cannot set foot on is a lush mountain range. Monkey Mountain is actually the highest peak of this mountain range. The Monkey King stands alone on the edge of the cliff. Behind him are apes, monkeys, tigers, elephants, hippos, rhino eagles. A total of 60 or 70 leader level mutant animals. The humans who arrived later were shocked again. The power of Monkey Mountain was far greater than they imagined. Kui Shan made a comparison in his mind. Assuming that there was no variable like the tree demon, the humans might not even be able to take down Monkey Mountain. Unless you continue to invest your strength regardless of the cost. Sure enough, they are 4 king-level mutant plants. This is probably going to be a bloody battle. Zhang Kunlun looked at the bottom of the cliff with a solemn expression. Kui Shan frowned. They must be solved within the animal world, otherwise there will be endless troubles. The 2 bosses performed fairly well, but the others' faces were pale and their legs were shaking involuntarily. These 4 king-level mutant plants are really scary. A vine that is over 30 meters tall and has a waist circumference of over 20 meters. It is the giant mutated root-penetrating vine that Yi Bai discovered at the beginning, and it has grown in size for the first time. The remaining trees are all larger than the giant mutated root-penetrating vine. One tree has pure black branches and branches covered with white flowers. It looks very weird and eerie at first glance, and scary to death if you look closely. This thing uses its feet. Walking. The prototype of the pure black branches is the locust tree. Someone recognized it. It is easy to tell that the prototype is a banana tree, but it makes me feel even more uncomfortable because a human face grows on its trunk. Except for humans themselves, any living creature with a human face would be very scary. Okay. The third tree is a collection of moso bamboos, all green and lush. If the bamboos were not covered with animal and human corpses, it would still look very good. At this time, the existence of these 4 mutant plants, which humans have characterized as king level, are slowly approaching from the foot of the mountain towards the mountain. The distance between the 2 sides is constantly shortening. Yi Miyuan was now standing on the side of the Monkey King, and he was still in the farthest position. In other words, this position allowed him to advance, attack, retreat, and run away, which made him feel very safe. Hey, didn't the Monkey King say there were 5 tree demons? How come there were only 4? Yi Miyuan looked away and poked a chubby one standing next to him with his elbow. This guy is a bear, but it is not a bear in the habitat of bears, but the giant panda, a national treasure that had an extremely high status in all major zoos. After the mutation, he became taller and more naive. There is another one who is their leader. I don't know where he is hiding. Hearing this, his round eyes reluctantly withdrew from the mutated giant bamboo. Oh, Yi Bai suddenly realized, no wonder these tree demons also give people a sense of discipline, and their relationships are really led by their elder brothers. Looking at your size, you can be among the top ones here. Why are you standing so low in the back? Then he asked casually. I am an assassin. Only by hiding can I play a greater role. Demon Ape, I feel that your strength is not weaker than mine. Why are you standing behind me? Yuan Guanggan said naively. I am also an assassin. Yi Bai pulled his face and said. Oh, one man and one beast looked at each other, smiled, and cherished each other. Wait a minute, Demon Ape, I want to sneak attack on that bamboo, can you help me? Yuan Guanggan took the initiative to invite again. Yi Bai looked surprised. No, brother, you have evolved and you are still interested in bamboo. I'm interested in the thing in its brain. If I eat that thing, I will definitely become the Bear King. The round smile is still so honest. What's in your head? It should be the crystal nucleus. Yi Bai's face straightened. I'm also very interested in this thing. Brother, what do you think we should do? Brother Shang was stunned, and then he smiled innocently. You help me dig out the thing from that bamboo, and I will help you dig out the thing from the other tree demons. Isn't that enough? Why don't you help me dig out the other tree demons thing first, and then I can help you dig out the bead thing? That won't work. All I can think about right now is that bamboo. If I help you first, I'll be distracted. I didn't expect you to be such a national treasure. Yi Bai feels deeply sorry. If you don't like this, Demon Ape, I'll be your little brother. How about you help me kill that bamboo and dig out its stuff? Seeing that Yi Bai wasn't interested at all, Brother Shang gritted his teeth and enlarged his moves. Be my younger brother. No, aren't you already the Monkey King's younger brother? Yi Bai was shocked on the spot. Brother Shang, however, said with a serious face, we all have our own things to do. Gods have different opinions. Yi Bai was about to refuse righteously, but then he thought of something again. He stared at Brother Shang for several seconds, and suddenly smiled. Okay, I'll accept you as my little brother and help you chop that bamboo. Thank you, brother. Brother Shang was ecstatic. Thank you. We are all brothers, but now that I am your eldest brother, it is not appropriate to call you Brother Shang. Can I give you a name, eldest brother? Is the name a human name? I have a name. Before I evolved, it was called National Day. Yi Bai. Forget, national treasures all have names. Crested Eagle, you are responsible for keeping an eye on that demonic flower. The Monkey King in front spoke. Yes, Your Majesty. The handsome eagle accepted the order, spread its wings and roared into the sky, looking at every inch of the land with a knife-like gaze. As soon as this remaining leader-level bird took off, the atmosphere became more and more solemn. Kui Shan no longer cared about the comparison of the combat power of the two sides and turned to look at the crowd. I don't care what your purpose is for coming in. We must destroy these 4 king-level mutant plants now. I hope you will use 100% of your strength to face them. Without waiting for anyone to respond, he turned his head again. The face of the awakened person from within the Wushu Association did not change at all at this time, but he was just adjusting his state silently. Because at this stage, more than 80% of the awakened people who accept 100% of the official orders were originally members of the military. Protecting their families and the country, and obeying orders is something engraved in their bones. Let these mutated animals take the lead, we will take a look again. I didn't expect the king-level mutant plant to be so terrifying. I wouldn't have come if I had known about it. Anyway, if you can't win, just retreat. There's no reason to die. Isn't there an ultra-high voltage power grid? Even if the city suffers, there is nothing we can do about it. Now is a world where natural selection is the survival of the fittest. Compared with the determination of the official team of awakened people, the private, awakened people are very life-saving, especially those from aristocratic families, who chatted unscrupulously. Kui Shan and Zhang Kunlun turned a deaf ear to this. No wonder the officials are in a hurry to form an army of awakened ones. They rely on these things to maintain stability. This country is in ruins. At the zoo, Yi Bai was sneering. He also cherishes his life, but it also depends on the situation. Now is the time when he must fight for his life. As soon as the mutated crested eagle took off, the 4 tree demons immediately stopped. After passing by the mountain, there was no movement, and then they continued to move up. Until we reached the mountainside. Kill. After the Monkey King finished speaking, he jumped down, roared in the air, and turned into a 10-meter tall golden giant ape in the wind. Roar. The golden giant ape knocked down the king-level mutated locust tree, and greeted the tree trunk with his fists like rain. With the sound of the wood exploding, black debris flew. Ho ho. The eerie king-level mutated locust tree kept struggling and making shrill sounds. Call out. Call out. There was a sound of breaking through the air, and 2 gray vines wrapped around the Monkey King's wrist, making it unable to punch out with its fist. Roar. The Monkey King turned around and roared, grabbed the vine with both hands and pulled hard. The mutated root-penetrating vine did not expect that the Monkey King's hatred would transfer so quickly. Unprepared, its body was quickly pulled towards the Monkey King, which frightened it into hastily cutting off its double vines. They still have some instinctive fear of the Monkey King. The purpose of wearing the root vine was to avoid being pulled over and beaten violently, but the strong inertia caused it to overturn on the spot and roll all the way to the bottom of the mountain. He got up quickly, but a domineering white shadow came even faster, pounced on Chuan Zhentang, opened his mouth and bit wildly. It's the mutant White Tiger King. The 2 strongest warriors on Monkey Mountain took the lead, and the remaining leaders charged forward. Bang! The king-level mutated banana tree was shattered by the Monkey King's punch. You kill that vine demon first. Following the order from the Monkey King, the group of beasts rushed down the mountain to help the White Tiger King. This scene excited the humans who were still watching. Concentrate your efforts to kill the pangolin first. Kui Shan made a prompt decision to help. Don't resist, get up. Zhang Kunlun raised his palms, and a strong wind arose out of thin air, sweeping everyone towards the foot of the mountain. The Monkey King's unparalleled fighting power made them all feel that this was a situation where they would beat the drowned dog, but as soon as they landed, they were stopped by a tree before they could rush towards the root-penetrating vine. It's a king-level mutant banana tree. Wasn't this thing beaten to death by the Monkey King? As soon as everyone had this idea in their minds, they saw the giant banana tree in front of them suddenly change, from 1 to 2, from 2 to 4, from 4 to 8. In the blink of an eye, they were surrounded by banana trees. Be cheated. The faces of the children of the aristocratic families were extremely ugly. President Kui, these banana trees are all living bodies. I guess they are the offspring of the king-level mutated banana trees. Its current body must be relatively weak. Wang Shasha took back her strength and shouted to Kui Shan. Find its true form, and I'll take credit for your success. Kui Shanhei's eyes flashed. Okay. Wang Shasha was overjoyed, and quickly took out a handful of seeds and sprinkled them on the ground. She saw something running underneath the rock and soil layer. Follow me. Wang Shasha strode in one direction. The 3 teammates quickly protected her in the middle. They didn't believe that the king-level mutant banana tree was just trying to trap them. Kui Shan naturally didn't believe it either and asked everyone to move forward in a vigilant formation. Sure enough, before they had walked a few steps, the fruits from the 2 banana trees on the side suddenly attacked the crowd. The people in charge of perimeter security were very cautious and used remote means to intercept them. Bang bang bang. The fruits that looked a bit like bananas all exploded. It was as powerful as a high explosive grenade and injured 3 people on the spot. Before they could fight back, a row of banana trees behind them sprouted arms and legs and ran towards them. Kill. Kui Shan greeted him with a cold face. He didn't expect that the top combat force he called would be entangled by a king-level mutant plant. Yes, entangled. They were unable to do anything about the king-level mutant banana tree for a while, and the same was true for the other party. I could hear constant vibrations in the dense banana forest. Looking at the mountainside, the Monkey King was grabbing a king-level mutated Moso bamboo hammer, tearing off the parts of the other hammer and screaming in agony. It is not difficult to see that the Monkey King's combat power is stronger than any of the 4 king-level mutant plants, but it is not the kind of crushing power. At least he cannot kill the opponent in a short time. Ding ding. A strange sound rang out. But it was a king-level mutated locust tree that had escaped from the sea of suffering. At this time, its feet were firmly grasping the rocks, and the white flowers on its body were swaying along with its body. Circles of gray sound waves slowly spread around. Those who were still on the mountain were the first to be affected. Their minds started to feel heavy and they soon fell asleep. Grass. Yi Bai suddenly woke up from his drowsiness, and looked at the king-level mutated locust tree with surprise in his eyes. It's really a demon tree, I almost fell into it. Look at the little brother next to me on National Day. Good guy, he is snoring. At this time, they were the only 2 assassins left on the mountain. They can't even handle the National Day. Kui Shan and the others certainly can't handle it either. Yi Bai silently took out the small thunder bow. As an assassin, he was going to give these king-level mutant plants a fatal blow, while also keeping an eye on the demonic flower that had not yet appeared. But now we have to take action. But someone, oh no, there was a monkey who took action faster than him. I saw the Monkey King hugging the king-level mutated Moso bamboo and throwing it hard. The latter met the same fate as the root-piercing vine and rolled all the way down the mountain. However, the Monkey King no longer pursued, but turned around and glared at King Kong angrily. The red light knocked away the gray sound wave and hit the locust tree hard. The weird sound disappeared instantly, and the sound waves naturally dissipated in the air, without affecting the people and animals below the mountain. It's also a national treasure. Why is the king so powerful? The giant panda stood up shaking his head on National Day and lamented the unfairness of his fate. Devil Ape, National Day, you pester the bamboo demon, I will help you after I finish dealing with the locust tree demon. The Monkey King's voice came. Yi Miyuan and Guo Qing were shocked when they heard this. The big bamboo was hammered by the Monkey King. Now is the time for their assassins to take action. Brother, I'll cover you. The mutated giant panda Guo Qing howled and took the lead in charging towards the bamboo demon at the foot of the mountain. Aren't you an assassin? What are you covering for? Yi Miyuan was stunned for a moment and had no choice but to follow suit. At the foot of the mountain, the bamboo demon stood up wherever it fell, and stayed on the outskirts of the banana forest, constantly shooting sharp bamboos to attack the humans in the forest. Ho ho! Seeing the miserable state of those 2-legged beasts, the bamboo demon let out a harsh laugh. It seems like there is some serious illness. Suddenly, the bamboo demon felt something was wrong and turned around quickly. Roar! A giant panda jumped on it, opened its mouth and bit into a green bamboo. Click! The bamboo that could withstand several blasts from the Monkey King was unable to withstand the giant panda's teeth and fell to pieces. Before it even hit the ground, it turned into a flash of emerald light and dissipated. Ho! The Moso bamboo forest was furious. The Moso bamboo on its body and the Moso bamboo it shot out had 2 different properties. The latter was just energy, while the former was an entity grown with hard work. If one tree is lost, 1 point of strength will be lost. The key is that this giant panda has an impression that it is the one that escaped from his hands before. Hoo. Dozens of Moso bamboos were smashed together. This giant panda showed no fear and endured the pain of the Moso bamboo hitting its body, then opened its mouth and bit another Moso bamboo. Click! Bite off another one. Mao Zhulin was really angry now. The green light in his body swelled and suddenly exploded. Boom! The giant panda National Day finally couldn't hold it anymore and was blown away by the violent force. His round body fell to the ground, and when he opened his mouth, he spat out a mouthful of bloody bamboo chips. He scrambled to get up, and the first thing he did was to pounce on him again. But this time the Moso bamboo forest would not give it a chance. A piece of Moso bamboo fell from the sky and surrounded the National Day. National Day accepted death. He bumped it but didn't knock it away. He opened his mouth and bit it. However, these Moso bamboos are not only solid, but also continuously blessed by the power of the Moso bamboo forest. However, they have withstood the National Day, and only moderate marks appeared on them. Maybe National Day could still break it if he continued to bite it, but another piece of Moso bamboo was already heading towards it. National Day for Giant Pandas, no room to hide. Whoosh. At the critical moment, a purple light came across the sky and hit the deadly bamboo. Boom. The Moso bamboo formed by the energy body was instantly annihilated. Whoosh. Another purple light hit the Moso bamboo fence, and the fence erupted with intense green light, but it still couldn't withstand this purple light and was easily penetrated. Guo Qing didn't care about elegance and drilled out along the big hole. Then he saw his elder brother standing not far away, holding a bow and arrow with lightning in his hand. Are you okay on National Day? Yi Miyuan looked at him with care in his eyes. Brother, I'm fine. Guo Qing shook his head. The Monkey King will just let us wrap around it. Why are you so desperate? Yi Bai couldn't help but ask. The crazy look on National Day just now really shocked him. I thought of my parents and my sister who died in its hands, and I couldn't help but fight for my life. The National Day bear looked at the bamboo demon with a ferocious face. You mean, this pile of Moso bamboo killed the whole family on National Day? It is said that the Guaoqing family seems to live on bamboo. Take it on National Day and keep him. Yi Miyuan took out something and threw it to National Day, with a murderous look on his face. When will retribution be repaid? If there is a cause, there will be an effect. He can't say it, let alone believe it. National Day is my little brother, so I will stand by him. There's nothing wrong with that. Guo Qing was stunned for a moment, subconsciously standing upright and reaching out to grab what his elder brother had thrown down. As soon as I put it in my hand, I looked closely and saw that it was a stick that was full of brilliance. It feels very handy. In midair, Yi Demon Ape drew his bow and fired explosively. In the form of the Demon Ape, the small thunder bow could be 100% of its power with just one pull. The arrows were like thunder and met the masses of bamboo again. Boom! The scattered aftermath woke Guo Qing up. He roared to the sky and ran towards the bamboo demon again. What greeted him were dozens of solid bamboos smashed at him. National Day no longer blocks with the body, but sweeps across with a stick. Dang dang. A piece of Moso bamboo flew back. The stick that Big Brother gave me is so useful. I was overjoyed on the National Day and rushed forward like a vicious dog pouncing on its food. I raised my stick and hit the bamboo demon's body with every blow. The sound of clanging is endless. Not very harmful, but extremely insulting. Seeing that the long-term attack on the main bamboo was ineffective, the Moso bamboo demon repeated its old trick, trying to kill this annoying giant panda with self-explosion energy. As a result, as soon as the energy started to stir up, a cloud-piercing arrow arrived first. Boom! Several strands of bamboo were instantly shattered. This was not only a loss of power, but the suffocating feeling of being interrupted from casting spells even made the bamboo demon crazy. The bamboo forest trembled, and green light burst out. It seems that mutated plants are not completely without flaws, and their attack methods are quite simple. Yi Miyuan commented and slowly took out the arrow. Crack! The more powerful purple thunder left the string. Two distinct forces collided, remained in a stalemate for a moment, and then dissipated. It's 50-50 again. At this time, Yi Demon Ape is almost certain that in terms of pure power, he is almost the same as the 4 king-level mutant plants. However, considering various methods, it will not be a problem for him to cultivate only one king-level mutant plant. If he hadn't been on guard against the demon flower that hadn't shown up yet, he would have rushed up and gone berserk with the bamboo demon on National Day. Of course, even if they let go, Yi Miyuan and Guo Qing would still have the upper hand, beating the bamboo demon without any temper. They were the self-proclaimed assassins. One of them turned into a melee tank, and the other turned into a shooter. Soon, the leaf demon ape discovered another characteristic of the mutated plants, that is, their vitality is particularly tenacious. In the 4 divided battlefields, the dryads were at a disadvantage, especially the Monkey King's side, which was one-sided. Boomers, but they just can't be killed. No wonder the Monkey King wanted to clean up the entire mountain and all the plants within a 500-meter radius. These 4 tree demons would definitely be more difficult to deal with in the forest. If we can't kill them this time, there will be endless trouble. As expected, the Monkey King took the lead to break the stalemate. The locust tree demon finally couldn't withstand his output. The white flowers on its body were withering rapidly. It was still struggling desperately with its last strength, but it couldn't break free. The suppression of the Monkey King. That is at this time. Yi Miyuan let out an angry roar. Your Majesty, let go of the demon tree and let me come. The Monkey King was about to trample the Sephora tree demon to death when he heard the Yi demon monkey roaring loudly, and subconsciously looked towards the foot of the mountain. Then he saw 3 purple rays of light piercing the sky and running toward him. Okay. The Monkey King showed a puzzled expression and dodged slightly. Then he saw the 3 beautiful rays of light hitting the locust tree demon, who was almost incapacitated. The violent force instantly tore the locust tree demon into pieces. Kill the king-level mutant locust tree. Feel comfortable. Regardless of checking what exploded, Yi Miyuan, who had already rushed to the scene, quickly tried to catch the black crystal core that fell from the sky. However, by chance, the black crystal core naturally fell into the hands of the Monkey King. Yi Miyuan is embarrassed. Miyuan, do you want this? The Monkey King looked at Yi Miyuan and asked. Yi Miyuan was stunned for a moment, then nodded. The Monkey King threw the crystal core casually. Then I'll give it to you. Yi Miyuan subconsciously caught it and could feel the pure and powerful power contained in the black crystal core. No, just give it to me. Your Majesty, don't you want this thing? Yi Miyuan couldn't help but ask. This is the source of power of the demon tree, and it is also of great use to me. The Monkey King put his hands behind his back and looked into the distance. His temperament was worldly and independent. We are all monkeys, why don't you just show off here? Yi Miyuan cooperated very well and showed a puzzled expression. Then why do you? I once left here and lived in your human world for a month. I saw a lot of things and even learned your writing. Someone taught me to surf the internet. As soon as the Monkey King said this, Yi Miyuan was frightened. The Monkey King is talking about you humans. What to do if your identity is exposed? It's urgent. Wait online. Also, who is stupid enough to teach Monkey King how to surf the internet, and hasn't watched Rise of the Planet of the Apes? The Monkey King looked at the leaf demon ape with a faint look. I am sure that you humans are in trouble. It is a big trouble caused by the genocide, and I don't want to cause you trouble, so I need you to help us sincerely. Yi Miyuan had to admit that the Monkey King's IQ could pass the Qingbei test. It can actually see the general trend of the world, and understands that people who are not of my race must have different minds. The cooperation between Monkey Mountain and Quishan is actually very unreliable. In fact, Yi Miyuan has long seen that mankind is indeed in danger of genocide. Let's talk about the most basic data. There are about 20 billion chickens in the world. Assume that these 20 billion chickens have all mutated. Well, on average, each human has to kill 3 mutant chickens. Let me ask you about the horror. Yi Miyuan didn't know what the attitude of the people above was toward mutant creatures, but he knew very well that it was impossible for humans to declare war on all mutant creatures. Since it is impossible to declare war on all mutant creatures, peaceful coexistence with some mutant creatures is the inevitable result. Mutated creatures can even form an alliance with humans and join the human family to enjoy the rights of citizens, such as 9-year compulsory education, doing business, joining the army, taking the civil service examination. Yi Miyuan glanced at Quishan and pulled the Monkey King aside. I must be sincerely willing to help you, but you also know that it's useless to just talk. So, how old is the king this year? 4.5 years old, what's wrong? Looking at the 4.5-year-old baby who was as tall as 2 floors in front of him, Yi Miyuan was stunned for a moment out of politeness, and then said happily, that's no problem. We are an alliance of blood, and we ask heaven and earth to bear witness and become different. Half-brothers from father to mother. I am the eldest brother and you are the younger brother. How can the elder brother not help the younger brother? Brothers. Okay, after we kill these tree demons, we will become a blood alliance. The Monkey King thought about it for a while and became excited. Yes, this is what he wants. With the Monkey King's talent and IQ, he is destined to do big things in the future. If you find a younger brother with a bright future, you can make a lot of money. Yi Miyuan also smiled. Ouch. Brother, Monkey King, what are you doing there? I'm going to die. The National Day screams came. The 2 monkeys followed the sound and saw Guo Qing running wildly on all 4s while vomiting blood. Behind him, the bamboo demon was chasing after him with all his teeth and claws. The Monkey King was about to take action when he suddenly sensed something and suddenly turned his head to look at the top of the mountain. At this time, Yi Muyuan also sensed that something fierce appeared on the top of the mountain, not to mention the demon flower. Brother, go ahead and let me deal with the bamboo demon. Immediately, he dropped a sentence and rushed towards the bamboo demon. That demon flower can become the leader of the 5 demons, and its strength is unknown. Yi Demon Ape will never compete with his younger brother. With great ability comes great responsibility. When I see the bamboo demon dead, I still have time to assassinate the demon flower. Then I'll leave this place to you, big brother. That demon flower wants to steal our things, I'll deal with it. The Yi Demon Ape ran to the foot of the mountain. Hearing this, he was shocked and quickly turned around and shouted, "Brother, you must kill it." What else could be on the mountain now? It must be his elixir. The Monkey King just nodded and turned into a golden light and rushed towards the top of the mountain. Soon, the roar of the King Kong giant ape came from the water curtain cave. At the same time, at the foot of the mountain, a sword beam spanned 100 meters and went straight to the large bamboo on the bamboo demon's body. The bamboo demon had been prepared for a long time. The green energy turned into an arc-shaped cover. It was going to attack the big black monkey head-on, and then tear the powerless giant panda into pieces and suck out his flesh and blood. Boom! The sword light struck the energy shield, causing a slight dent in the arc. However, as the green light was outputted for free, the arc quickly rebounded and dispersed the sword light. In front of the bamboo demon, only the giant panda was paralyzed on the ground. A physical bamboo separated from its mother's body and stabbed it fiercely. Extremely fast, but a figure is faster. Brother. Seeing Yi Muyuan standing in front of him, I was moved to tears on National Day. Go aside, don't affect my output. The Yi Demon Ape raised his knife towards the bamboo demon and slashed at it. Although the extraordinary alloy knife was damaged and its power was reduced than before, he still liked to use it to chop. Bang bang. Wherever the blade passed, the bamboo that was comparable to a magic weapon was only left with a split. What's going on? This big black monkey seems to be much stronger than before. The bamboo demon was a little confused. However, the Yi Demon Ape, who was worried about the elixir, was not in the mood to have with this bamboo demon. He used the subtle body technique to the extreme and forced himself into the solid bamboos coming from the sky, looking for an almost non-existent gap. Like his little brother Guoqing, he came to the body of the bamboo demon. The source of its power is in the soil. Seeing how fierce his eldest brother was, Guoqing, who had crawled to the side, shouted excitedly. Soil. The Yi Demon Ape looked at his feet. Is the seemingly ordinary soil under the emotional bamboo where its true body lies? Yi Muyuan raised his knife. Ho ho! The bamboo demon roared in terror, and he realized the difference between this big black monkey. This was a being on the same level as the Monkey King. The Moso bamboo forest shook crazily, and countless green lights erupted. This is its method of dealing with those prey that are close to it. It works every time. But this time, it didn't work. Roar! A tiger roar rang out, startling the white tiger king not far away. Aren't all the tigers in the zoo dead except him? Are there any survivors? Please, it must be a tigress. The white tiger king looked back and saw a golden bell appearing in the whirlpool wrapped in green light. The roar of the tiger came from the golden bell. Bai was excited. The white tiger king cursed in his heart, but his pupils suddenly dilated again. Because he saw, inside the vortex, a knife was raised high. Cut it down. Ninefold thunder blade. Yi Muyuan's calm voice rang out. In fact, he didn't have to, because he thought it might make him look more handsome and intimidate these mutant bosses. Boom! The violent sword light erupts. Then it was like adding fuel to a raging fire. No matter how much the bamboo demon mobilized its strength to attack, it couldn't be extinguished. Snapped. The extraordinary alloy knife in Yi Muyuan's hand was broken. But it has completed its mission. It exploded 9 times, and the violent power gathered a little, tearing apart the Moso bamboo demon's body in an instant. Ho! With a tragic roar, the bamboo demon's body was torn apart and he collapsed. Yi Muyuan's face twitched, and then he threw away the broken knife. In order not to lose his majesty, he was like the Monkey King before, with his hands behind his back and his eyes looking deeply into the distance. The wind blew his hair, leaving the world and being independent. How do you describe this feeling? My little brother is indeed good at showing off. I'll bite you to death. However, at this moment, an angry voice suddenly sounded. Hearing this, Yi Miyuan was stunned and quickly turned around. He didn't expect that he was only half-assed when he saw his younger brother Guo Qing pounced on the remains of the mangosteen demon and was biting madly. Every one of those moso bamboos was chewed up by him. Shut up on National Day. Yi Miyuan hurriedly stopped him. This guy had been slow to take action for a long time, but he came out to grab monsters at this time. Haha, what's wrong, big brother? Guo Qing raised his panda head and asked with a simple smile. Yi Bai looked at the dead bamboo demon and fell into silence. Are mutated pandas still considered national treasures? Can it be cut? Waiting online, it's very urgent. No, it's okay. Yi Bai took a deep breath, squatted down and groped in the mound of soil, and soon found a green crystal core, which was a bit of comfort. Brother, this thing. Guo Qing became excited. It's not your fault, but didn't we agree that the things inside the moso bamboo demon belong to me? I regret it. Yi Miyuan gritted his teeth. Well, big brother, you can eat it. It's good for me to eat this. Sensing that his elder brother was getting angry, Guo Qing decisively lowered his head to nibble on the remaining green bamboo. Although the bamboo demon's item was inedible, eating these bamboos would be enough for him to become the king of giant pandas. Yi Miyuan, who had been robbed of monsters by his younger brother, felt really suffocated in his heart. He silently picked up the fallen extraordinary alloy stick and walked towards another battlefield. Fortunately, there was still another one. Let go of this Tang Yao and let me do it. He directly shot his stick into the air, displaying an aura of disapproval. The beasts that were hunting the giant root-piercing vine were so frightened that they quickly moved away, but the White Tiger King had his own dignity and did not retreat. Not long after, snapped. The White Tiger King made several spinning movements in the air before he could stabilize his body and land on the ground. However, looking at his majestic face, there were monkey paw prints. Magic ape, why are you hitting me? The White Tiger King shouted angrily. Oh, accidental injury, Yi Miyuan explained while smashing the giant root-penetrating vine. This explanation is actually a bit perfunctory. But the White Tiger King accepted it. There was no way. They beasts were very reasonable. You were better than me, what you said is right. Needless to say, the giant root-penetrating vine is much easier to kill than the mountain master demon. This thing is good at fighting in groups. It is unlucky to encounter the leaf demon ape with the power to crush it. When he was beaten almost to death and was about to run away, Yi Miyuan fired 3 arrows to end the battle. This time he was very careful and did not stop until the killing prompt sounded. After being robbed, he snatched another one back, which was not a loss. Who knew that guy was a former national treasure? After digging out the crystal core, Yi Miyuan immediately looked towards the banana forest. Subconsciously, they wanted to grab monsters, but they immediately thought that after helping Kui Shan and the others resolve the battle, they must also go up to help the Monkey King's younger brother, just in case they saw the elixir above. In order not to cause unnecessary misunderstandings, let these young people exercise more. Surround the banana forest and don't let the banana demon escape. Without saying a word, Yi Miyuan flew towards the top of the mountain. We settled on the top of the mountain and were about to enter the water curtain cave. At this moment, the mountain suddenly shook. Boom! The entire Shuilian cave exploded. Then a white light shot up into the sky, and upon closer inspection, I found that it was actually a snow-white fox. It sat cross-legged in the air, its huge tail swayed and grew a second tail, and then a third tail grew. A huge white flower bloomed behind it. Yi Bai raised his head and was stunned. Okay, could this guy be the culprit behind this incident of mutated plants versus mutated animals? You want to occupy my cave, Yaohua, you have to give up. On the ground, the golden giant ape flashed a coquettish red light in his angry eyes. You golden-haired monkey is so annoying. You don't need this mineral vein. You won't lose anything by giving it to me. I'm willing to live in peace with you. The three-tailed white fox showed no fear at all and just looked at the Monkey King with resentment. There is no peace between you and me. The Monkey King's eyes were cold. Smelly monkey, do you think I'm afraid of you? Then you come down and we will decide whether to live or die. Seeing that the two were about to fight, Yi Miyuan finally came to his senses and shouted quickly, wait. Two eyes looked at him at the same time. Black-haired monkey, are you okay? The three-tailed white fox seemed to have just seen the leaf demon ape, with curiosity in its charming eyes. I am a mighty demon ape, you call me a black-haired monkey. Yi Miyuan suddenly felt that 9 years of compulsory education for mutant creatures had a long way to go. Brother, is this thing a demon flower? Why does it look like a fox? Yi Miyuan asked the Monkey King. Well, she is the demon flower, and her illusion skills are very powerful. Brother, you have to be careful. The Monkey King nodded. It was obvious that he was very afraid. I have another question. Isn't there a strong magnetic field at a height of 100 meters here? Magnetic field. Well, it's something like a ban. There is. Then why can she fly so high? Yi Bai pointed at the three-tailed white fox. This guy is at least 200 meters above the ground. The Monkey King obviously had not thought about this question, and he was stunned for a moment and replied, I don't know. Giggle. The three-tailed white fox laughed and looked at the leaf demon ape. Silly black monkey, because this restriction is only effective for entities. Yi Miyuan was stunned. Then you are incorporeal. Why are you so stupid? I am a ghost body. The three-tailed white fox laughed so hard that its branches trembled. But soon, she stopped laughing. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. 3 rays of purple light came in the finished glyph shape, locking on her eyebrows, throat, and heart respectively. The power of thunder and lightning. A trace of disgust flashed through his charming eyes, and the 3 tails swayed, becoming more than 10 times larger in an instant, and threw them fiercely towards the space in front of them. Boom! 3 rays of purple light hit a giant tail almost at the same time. The violent thunder and lightning force annihilated a space, and only the crackling sound could be heard. On the ground, Yi Muyuan's eyes suddenly shrank. It was certain that 3 arrows could not kill the fox, but they only made the fox's tail burnt black. Call. The next moment, a giant tail passed through a distance of 100 meters and hit him hard. It obviously didn't have much power, but Yi Demon Ape felt the danger, and his body shape changed continuously, and he almost managed to avoid it. Boom! After the giant tail smashed a hole into the ground, it retracted it like lightning. It's a bit troublesome. Yi Miyuan glanced at the pit. It was indeed not very powerful, but the feeling of heart palpitations was definitely real. This guy was indeed a bit powerful. Realizing that there seemed to be nothing he could do with his soul body for the time being, after thinking about it carefully, he raised his head and shouted, "Stop it! I hope everyone will support it and subscribe more."